Okay, we're live with another Cartridge Club Hangout. Or more accurately, I am live. No one has joined yet. I'm just going to start this up, see if anyone joins, give it a bit. And I need to mute myself because YouTube does not allow you to pre-mute the video before you start a broadcast now, which is supremely annoying. But, yeah, if anyone's watching, feel free to chime in the chat because I have no idea what I'm going to talk about. Haven't been playing a whole heck of a lot, at least not a variety. Been playing Warframe a little bit. Haven't touched Anthem since I finished it, mostly because I just needed a break from it, and there's not a whole heck of a lot of content left to tackle. Going to be touching that a little bit at a time until it updates. Started Rise of the Tomb Raider. Enjoying that so far. Not very far in. Apparently I need to give Escape Plan a second try. I recommended this to Rambox and did not get a good reception on that, apparently, so maybe I need to revisit my opinion on this movie. I have no idea what else to talk about. And no one's even in the chat yet, so I can't bounce off anybody. Really awkward talking to nothing, even though I know some people listen to these back. And I want to fill some of the dead air, just in case someone actually pops in. Literally scrolling through news, and like game news, and can't really even find much worth talking about. Let's see if the link went live. It's been like 30 or 40 minutes now and no one's hopped on before I hit broadcast. Guess it's just a busy night. No idea. Took a few minutes longer than usual to even get the pre-broadcast Hangout stuff set up because YouTube has this new stupid Creator Studio beta thing that I could not find the settings I needed on that at all. So I just ended up clicking on Classic and going back to it. This is the most boring shit I could possibly be talking about. I'm not seeing the link. That's encouraging. It's the entire reason I put this live. 'Cause that's when people seem to join, is when they see that link. Yep, that's not on the Cartridge Club page. What the hell? Sorry if anyone's watching or listening back to this and it eventually did get going, otherwise it won't go up. But, yeah, mostly gonna be dead air unless someone joins. I don't even remember what we did when the Hangouts did originally just go live right away without anyone in beforehand. Don't remember what the lead up time to that was. Mostly because I think I was the first person to join most of the time. Yeah, I'm just gonna turn the video off until someone joins. Or turn my camera off at least. Currently, Marmal may be joining, so the dead air might end shortly. Okay, we have signs of life. Hey again, Jason. You need to unmute yourself.
Can you hear me?
Yep. There we go.
What's happening?
Not much. It's been dead silence for about 30 minutes.
Where is everybody?
I have no idea. Marmal said he's going to be on. Apologies to anyone on the archive if this goes up watching that back. That's a substantial amount of dead silence to stroll through.
Some bitches.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess everyone's just busy.
Figures this is a Tuesday I pop in on, right?
Yeah, thank you. So how's it going?
Not bad, not bad. I was just talking to, but like right before I talked to you on Hangouts earlier, I had talked to Square Painter, pixel artist Adam, about the Polykill podcast, the most recent one. Trying to get the word out there.
Some commission or just checking how their podcast game's going?
Nah, just trying to get the word out there.
Nice.
Their goal this week was to just get the word out.
Yeah. Also, hey, Pixel Protocol in the chat, sorry for the wait. I have no idea if you're a Cartridge Club member or if you just stumbled on that massive silence by chance. So sorry for the wait on that. And hey, Marmal and Rocket Sauce and anyone else in the chat, if anyone's still there or just lurking.
Jump on.
Yeah, just going to get back to whatever we were talking about. Yeah, just for context, since I said again, Jason popped in before I went live for a few minutes, but he had to get in the shower, so didn't end up going live since there wasn't any permanence to the spot being taken up.
That's right.
No, it's fine. I was just explaining that for the sake of context, even though I'm probably the only one that gives a damn.
How's Hangouts been going recently? Like with 5-6 people, four to six?
Yeah, about. Sometimes less than that, but it's never like this silent. I don't know what's going on tonight. But
bad week. It happens.
Yeah, it happens, yeah.
We had quite a few nights where we had to just kind of call it.
Yeah.
So
I don't know what to do.
Club game of the month?
Catherine, nope, that was last month. What Remains of Edith Finch, I have not played it yet because I missed the last sale it was on. I meant to grab it, but I didn't. I should check if it's on a sale this week because I wouldn't mind checking it out.
This is actually a good excuse to pop open my limited run copy I've had sitting on the shelf for a year or two. Probably 2 years now, actually. Because everybody raves that it's good. It's great. For a walking sim, it's great.
Yeah. And Marmal, you have to unmute. There you go. How's it going?
Way. Not bad. Not bad.
Good evening.
Good evening. How's everyone else been?
Pretty decent.
Shitty day at work. Glad I'm home. That's kind of why I'm on Hangouts. Terrible day at work. I felt like a dead horchacho getting beaten.
Red Dead Horchacho 2.
That's right.
I need to catch up on Polykill. I'm going to see how many episodes I'm behind on.
Actually, it is for me, it is Red Dead Horchacho. I've still not put more than 3 hours into that game.
I haven't put more than 0 seconds into it. So nothing against it. I want to play the first one first, and I haven't gotten the call to really play that yet.
Have you played Revolver?
No. Yeah, I'm 4 episodes behind on.
That one's hard to go. That one's hard to go back to. Red Dead Revolver's a little hard to go back to.
Yeah. The funniest part about me not playing any of those is I have all of them in the house. My mom is super into Red Dead Redemption.
Really?
Yeah, it's my mom plays games in general, like not as much as I do, but like she'll pop on stuff. Usually like stuff like Ratchet and Clank and Jack and Daxter. That stuff was where she really jumped in. Like she used to play like a bunch of Wheel of Fortune on N64 and stuff like that, but never like anything heavy. But then just somehow she ran across a video or an advertisement or something for Red Dead Redemption, and it was the first game she asked me about that I had not played.
Oh, Red Dead's good.
Yeah. Just a couple
Definitely
more
good.
details on that because I find it funny. Is one, I ended up getting it for Christmas that year, and she literally cried when she opened it. And then she proceeded to beat it and tell me what the ending was, assuming I had played it previously. It's like, I gave it to you. This was not in the house previously. So she just spoiled the ending for me right out. I like to bug her about that every now and again. Only partially the reason I haven't played it yet, but I just find it funny more than anything.
I just can't dig in. There's just something about it. It's keeping me away.
The snow.
Yeah, man. It's just so it's the snow and the slow.
Yeah, the slow snow.
Although my dumb ass goes back to Skyrim.
Hey, at least that's fast snow.
I guess I just fired it up again, and I'm like level 30 in like 2 days.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's something about Skyrim. I just like it.
Yeah, I haven't played any of the DLCs on that yet, which is annoying.
Yeah.
I played all the way through it for, I think, 120-ish hours on 360. Then I rebought it on PS4 and proceeded to play 10 minutes and never touched it again. Not anything against it, it just wasn't a mood I was in.
You're not missing a whole hell of a lot.
Yeah, I'm more. And I played 120 hours. I know what I'm not missing.
Yeah, no, I still haven't gotten Skyrim. I haven't played it.
Really?
It came out at a wrong time. Initially, just
It happens.
I couldn't get into. I couldn't sacrifice the time for that. Like I just couldn't.
Did you put any time into Oblivion?
Nope, that's the thing. Elder Scrolls, I completely hadn't played any of them.
Oof. You might want to play Oblivion first.
I don't know about that.
No, it's a better game. It really is.
Skyrim,
so if you haven't played any Elder Scrolls at all, Skyrim is a much more beginner-friendly game, like an entry to the series friendly game. But Oblivion is the superior game because it's much more in depth. There's so much more in the game. Skyrim is very basic.
Yeah, that's fair, but that's why I would say Skyrim first, because it's a better presentation. You're more like readily guided into story elements that are like more visually interesting, and there is a bunch of interesting stuff to do. So it's like one of those things that's easier to jump into, and then if you get into it, you can always go back to Oblivion.
The only thing that's tough is Oblivion. You notice the graphical difference, and it kind of hurts. If you're a graphics person, going from Skyrim back to Oblivion is painful. Unless you're playing on a very high-end PC, then it's not so bad.
Actually,
if you're playing on console, it hurts.
If you also if you have an Xbox One X, it's enhanced on that.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's one of the few 360 ones that's enhanced, so you could try that.
And that is the better version too.
Yeah, if you have that set up and a 4K TV, or even just 1080p with the X, that would be worth a try. But the faces, man, just the further back you go, the less human the humans look.
This is true.
Yeah. See, that's
which it can be funny, but still,
it should be all right. I'm not really big on graphics, like unless it's completely jarring. Like, I can usually look past graphics.
Yeah. So maybe the recommendation here is try Oblivion. If you can't get into it, try Skyrim. Then if it's like that's your 2 tries and that's basically it, you're just not into Elder Scrolls. But you can either go straight to Skyrim or try Oblivion a bit first. I think Oblivion's on Game Pass, so you can.
I got a PS4. That's mainly.
So never mind.
Yeah, I would say in that case,
my 360s.
Well, even in that case, the Oblivion Game of the Year edition, the complete edition for 360, is roughly the same price as the complete edition of Skyrim for PS4. So if you're playing more consistently on your PS4, I would recommend getting the complete Skyrim. Because, like I said, it's a very easy entry, and you can pop it in and just take a look at it, and you're like, and it'll cost you probably less than $15 at this point.
Yeah, this version.
Yeah,
or
it's worth it. Or you can get the basic version for like $5.
Alternately, you can go all the way in if you've got VR. There's a VR version of it.
Yeah,
that's right.
But you can get the no DLC version of Skyrim for PS4 for like literally I think it's in GameStop EB Games bargain bin for like $5-6.
Is there a no DLC version?
Yeah. Skyrim came out for PS4 before it went legendary.
You mean PS3?
For PS4.
Mm-hmm. I thought it did.
Really?
Yeah, it was re-released on PS4, and then it was re-released as a legendary edition. You can get base PS4 versions for like $6.
Yeah, it's not Legendary Edition. It's Special Edition.
Yeah, whatever they call it. I think it is Legendary Edition. The one I have sitting on my shelf. Hold on.
Legendary Edition was on PS3 and 360.
Hold on. Playing the thing like yesterday.
There's a billion versions of it, so it's easy to get confused.
It is Special Edition.
Yeah.
This one, yeah. But I think there was a Standard Edition on PS4 as well.
I have no recollection of that.
Yeah, even this one I think is probably cheap anyway. It's sub $15 at this point.
Yeah, it's very cheap. But you have the 360. There is a chance you don't have an Xbox One, but there's a chance that you could work around through the Xbox website to get like maybe a $2 for a month or whatever the hell it is for Game Pass, and hit download through the site, and that might download it on your 360, and you can try it that way.
That's true.
I don't know how you can do that if you can kind of back end your way into Game Pass through 360. I have not tried anything that way, so.
Oh.
But you can try.
My free costume and horse expired.
No Horchacho armor.
no shiny Horchacho.
Yep. That was the best. I'm assuming you do listen to Masters of Unlocking. When they do an episode.
Yeah.
It's how many episodes ago was it? It was I'll just say it was the time when Siri activated.
So you're talking probably that was before the break.
Yeah, I think it was. No, I think that was in January. But
the first episode back?
One of them. I think I've listened to 2 or 3 in the last 2 days. I'll see what. This is riveting, but I'm gonna go through my podcast history.
Man, what a big world. That's so cool. Yeah, Marvel, by the way, like Skyrim, this is PS4. It comes with a cool map.
Oh, see, I love maps.
Yeah, it actually comes with it's not a manual, but an insert. But it comes with an insert and a map.
Okay, it could have been. Sorry, go ahead.
It couldn't give you the instructions, but they could give you a map instead.
I'll take it, man. That's just like having something in there.
Yeah. Here's the thing I've recently come to believe in terms of instructions. I'm kind of glad they're gone. And there's a specific reason why. It's because it forces game developers to put everything you possibly need in the game for context. It's never been like that much of an issue in terms of like needing to read the instructions for quite a long time now, but it takes away that crutch. If you like, I don't feel like putting this context in the game, I'll just put it in the manual. It takes away that option.
If the story's going in the game, it's going in the game. If not, you don't got to worry about it.
Yeah, you're not going to get an ET situation where the game's better if you read the manual first.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah. It sucks in terms of a collector thing and just kind of the nostalgia and heft of the case. But it's better for games in general, I think. I made the comparison before. You don't have to read the program before you see the movie to understand what you're about to watch.
I just noticed
that makes sense.
An Easter egg.
Unless it's Star Wars, but then it's just at the beginning anyway.
No, I mean, like, I never noticed this because I've never looked at this. I've never taken it out of the damn box. But if you can see, let me see if I can get this on the screen right. Hold on. We're looking here, where my fingers are. It's hard to see. But right there is an X, and right there is an X, a red X.
Mm-hmm.
And there's another one here. There are treasure maps in the game. And they give you a little, the treasure map is literally nothing but a hand-drawn picture of a location, like a waterfall or like a mountain with a house in the background. And I've never noticed that if you look at the map, I think those are the X marks the treasure spots.
That's awesome.
Jeez.
That's awesome if that's true.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic. That's the kind of stuff that, like,
1, 2, 3, 4,
like happens
5,
in Red Dead.
Yeah,
6,
because
7.
you get the same. You get the same thing. Treasure map with literally no
just
point of
reference.
reference.
I had that problem in God of War. It was one of the few problems I had in God of War, the new one, where they do give you the treasure map with just the picture. It's like, not only is that not helpful, you don't need it, because if you're scouring for secrets anyway, you'll just come across it by just naturally. You'll notice a dig spot. They're not hard to find.
I just, like with Red Dead, I just can't. I get the map and I'm like, I really want to do this.
Yeah.
But I do not know where I'm going to start, because right there it's just a mountain. And I'm like, well, that's great. I don't know what mountain.
Nice picture of some geography you got there. No idea where it pertains to.
Yep, I don't know where I'm going to start. I don't know where I need to be. Like, no clue.
I think if my count is right, there's 16 on here. And that seems about right, because I know for sure that the treasure maps themselves on the game go past number 10. I think I've seen number 11. Like, found the actual map.
I liked the stuff that you could just kind of stumble upon in Skyrim.
This would be fucking brilliant if this is the case.
Yeah. I've never heard anyone mention that. Either that or I just forgot.
No, I know I've never heard anybody mention this.
No.
Yeah, I wonder what the hell the red X's are. Son of a bitch, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, like article on Kotaku tomorrow. Random guy finds treasure on Skyrim map 7 years later.
Right?
Yeah.
On Hangout.
Easter egg. Gotta have that clickbait title.
Yep.
Easter egg in Skyrim not discovered till now.
Yes.
It's just fired it up.
Are you gonna go find the treasure?
We go find it right now. Wow, that is fantastic if that is the case.
I had a pretty good week with hunting for things.
Oh, nice.
This week.
That's good, because I haven't been hunting at all, like, in forever. So I like hearing people's pickups.
Yeah, we can go into that now, since it's been enough of a wait for this entire thing. But I'll get my one out of the way, because it's not really much of a thing people will care about. Shocking. But last week I got a freaking Xbox One X. You're not going to get a whole lot of pickups this week. Is the new Star Wars book came out, is Queen's Shadow. It's actually a story about Padme for once, from between the end of Phantom Menace, when she stops being queen, and when how she becomes a senator and stuff for Attack of the Clones. It's more interesting than that sounds. It's just like, it's nice to get some elaboration on her character for once, because there's really not been much for her as a character.
And in the movies, it literally just jumps years of time.
Yeah, it's just nothing. And the only place, at least in canon, there may have been things here and there for her in the old Legends books, but never like a full novel like this, I don't think. But she appeared a lot in the Clone Wars cartoon, and a lot of that gets called back to it in here, or referred, like you get foreshadowing to that in here, like relationships with some characters that we didn't see like how they met or anything, but it's like we get callbacks to their like light mentions to their history, but not much. So there's apparently some of that history in here. The handmaidens get some stuff. You find out about all the hidden shit in her, like in the queen's dress. That's like, is this like fucking Terminator armor? It's a dress. She has like a personal shield in there. There's an escape hatch. It's a dress with an escape hatch in case she needs to move quickly. It's insane, but it's kind of awesome that they make something out of the ridiculousness of that costume.
Yeah. Like, oh man, it's a mech. It's got an escape suit.
Yeah, it's like the fabric is coated with a material that deflects blaster fire. It's insane. Yeah, that's it for me.
So
that's tackled in one page. It's not like a chapter on her dress or anything. But it's just a little bit of fun that they put in there. I like stupid little shit like that.
Oh yeah, no, it's great. It just elaborates on small stuff that no one's really thinking about.
But yeah, relationships and politics and history is more of what that book is about, and I've heard nothing but great things about it. Anyway, you can get into actual video game things now if you want to.
Well, let's see. First thing I picked up was Little Mac.
Nice.
He has eluded me ever since they came out. Like,
was that the inspiration for the tank top tonight?
Oh yeah, no, that was just. It was the in between the should I go outside and work out or yeah.
Or hang out with these idiots for however long.
Yeah, pretty much. It was like, wow, I'll stay in the night. I can do it all tomorrow morning. Yeah. But yeah, when the Amiibos first came out, I got Kirby and Fox were the first two I bought. And I was like, this is great. I love these. And they were like, maybe we should slow down on buying these. I was like, oh, okay. And then Little Mac, I found him in the store. And I was like, I'm going to buy him. I sat there and contemplated for about, it was like 10 minutes wandering around the store. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to be the responsible person and I'll wait. And I will buy him next paycheck. And he never showed up again.
I wholeheartedly agree with that. I can't tell you if I've ever seen a Little Mac in the wild.
I've got a single Amiibo, and I got it basically against my will. It was forced upon me by Nintendo. It was the Wolf Link Amiibo with Twilight Princess. It's like I want this remaster, but I have no care for Amiibo at all. So it's just up there.
I will take your Amiibo. Fine. I want the game.
Yeah, it's like if the option is play on the Wii or get an Amiibo, I'm getting that damn Amiibo.
I was playing. Well, I was flicking through Facebook and decided on a whim, just be like, well, let's see who's selling what. And yeah, I was like, oh, Amiibos, okay. I'm flipping through it, and people are like selling off collections for like $900 and whatever.
Jeez.
And there was, but they were like extensive collections. They weren't just like, 5 or 6 of them. It was like pretty much the entire set. Just like I have them all and I just want to move them.
I think I have like 20 to 25 still new.
Yeah, no, I bought them. The kids love them, and they've well and truly loved a couple of them. And it's like,
that's what they were meant for.
Exactly. But I was like, not Little Mac. This guy, he's mine. He's mine, and I'm going to protect him. But yeah, like found it on there. The lady had them listed for like $70. She had like 3 of them on there. And I was like, well, how much for the Little Mac? And she was just like, oh, it'll be like 20. And I was like, Alright, fine.
That's much
like
better.
$20 for Little Mac. Yeah, I was like $20 for Little Mac because she had a couple others of them, of like the 8-bit Mario's, and I think it was
much
like
more
a couple
common
others
ones.
of like. Yeah, exactly. I was like, the Little Mac. Like, how much for that one? And $20. Okay, cool. She was like, and then shipping. And I was like, how much is shipping going to be? I'm like, right down the road. How much is shipping? She was like, $4. So I was like, $24 for Little Mac, and I don't have to go drive out and go get it.
Mm-hmm.
Hi,
I'll that's one of those situations for a new Sealed Amiibo that hasn't popped up in a while. That's not a huge markup.
That's
exactly.
The thing
I was like,
I remember when that one came out, and I just like never saw it again.
Yeah. My wife said that she's seen it at conventions, and it's always like stupidly expensive, like $60, and always has a sold out sticker on it. And she's just like, yeah, that thing just doesn't exist. So I was like, well,
yeah,
$24.
When you said 70, I thought you meant just for that one, and I'm like, oof, that's a pretty penny, but I'm not shocked at all. I wouldn't be shocked if that's what it was selling for.
Oh yeah. And she had a whole collection of them, like just like 3 or 4 of them, and she was like $70 for the lot. And I was like, I don't want any of the other ones. Like, I just want that one.
Yeah, probably happy to sell any of them, so that's fine.
Oh yeah. And then let's see, the other thing I picked up was a bit of a reach out. A guy had it listed once again, Facebook, just me poking around, and found a guy selling a Dreamcast had it listed for $120, but I was like, if I gotta make the drive out there to go pick it up, like, can we do like 80 for it or 100? And he was like, yeah, that'd be fine. So I got the Dreamcast with all its cables and whatnot.
All the cables
came
and
bits. Came with the controller, which didn't really like. I didn't even realize that this one was actually came out with Dreamcast. Like
that's the sports edition. Yeah, the whole console was black and the controller was black.
Yeah, I didn't realize that was like a separate thing. So I was just like,
also,
okay.
Apparently, there was a huge failure rate on the first wave of them, though, too. So.
Yeah, but then I plugged it up, but I guess the AV cords look, I guess, kind of old. I mean, they looked old, and quite honestly, I'm not surprised. So I went ahead and was like, well, let me see what I could do, and I'd rather do HDMI stuff. And sure enough, Metal Jesus Rocks has the video for it. So I was like,
of course.
That thing, I was like, I know this guy, and I trust him enough. Sure, I'll go ahead and I'll buy the little adapter for it. Came in today. The Dreamcast HD thing came in today.
Nice.
So,
have you hooked it up yet?
Plugged that in. Oh yeah. Plug that up.
And it works nice and smooth.
Just fine. Oh yeah.
Huh.
Nice and smooth. Works fine. So, real happy with that. The only Dreamcast game that I had from my childhood still is the Jet Set Radio. It's just a disc though.
It's a good one though.
Sorry,
if you're going to have one game, that's the one to have.
And that's honestly been the mentality behind it. Like every single disc folder I've had, I've always had to have Jet Set Radio in there somewhere. Just like I need to keep this disc, just because I think I picked that up at a Toys R Us all those years ago, and it's been fantastic. And I don't think I've seen it since. So I was like, I need to keep hold of this disc. I love it.
Yeah, I've been rocking mostly the same 5 Dreamcast games since probably the mid-2000s, when I found the console in a pawn shop. I made the huge mistake, not being a collector or apparently intelligent at the time, there was a big box of games, literally $2 a piece, complete copies. I passed up all of them. And on top of that, I had bought a copy of Rainbow Six, which was awful, so bad that I returned it. I picked up nothing, and I returned one. Wow. It was like super regrets. not as big of a regret as paying $20 in a Zellers for Rippin' Riders, but that's at least a game I have. But
they came with Alone in the Dark 2, just loose,
nice.
both discs. It came with Dino Crisis as well, just loose, chain bed. But then it came with Phantasy Star Online.
Nice.
Complete, which I was surprised at. Like it's a Dreamcast game that's complete. Okay, cool. Like going through it, like so it was like $100 for this and the Dreamcast and these games that came with it, and Spec Ops 2. Like, all right. I mean, it's complete, so can't really complain.
It is a game.
House of the
Can't complain.
Yeah. House of the Dead 2.
That's a good one.
Whole complete and everything. Came with a light gun as well.
Killer game.
Very nice.
Came with the
Very nice.
Came with the Dreamcast light gun, so can't go wrong with that. Memory card and rumble pack. And then it came with Code Veronica. Complete.
Good haul.
So I was surprised. I was like, okay, yeah, sure, $100. Sure. Like, and then flipping through it, and I was like, okay, well, I didn't realize that the Code Veronica was, because he just had it listed in the description, like these are the games that came with it. I didn't realize that they were going to be complete. Like half the games are going to be complete. So I had a little poke around to see if I actually poked around if I got any value out of it. And I was like, no, I did. Like,
yeah,
even House of the Dead was like $15 complete in box. And I was like, okay, well,
yeah,
all right.
I have very, very rarely seen Dreamcast games out in the wild, and if I do, they're usually sports games.
Yep.
Or just flat out overpriced. Like, I found 2 in a thrift store one time. I found Sonic Adventure and Soul Calibur, the 2 most common ones. So, of course, I grab it, and I open to check the discs. Gone. Empty cases. They wouldn't even let me take the cases.
I'm not surprised.
Which was the extra kicker. But, yeah, the only games I have for the system are Jet Set Radio, Power Stone, no manual on that, but who cares? Star Wars Episode 1 Racer, which is fantastic.
Yes, the better version of that too.
Yes.
I had to make sure, because like after that, it's just like, duh, because the games aren't very good. That I have left is Trick Style and Rippin' Riders. And the only game that I've gotten for that console in the last decade is Spawn and the Demon's Hand. Because that is the only one that I was actively looking for. Like, I say actively in that I mentioned it whenever it came up. Like, just around, just in case anyone had it. Turns out, someone in the Cartridge Club did have it, and they sent it to me for free. Nice. They requested at the time to remain nameless, so I'm going to uphold that now, but I much appreciated that. I barely play it, but I appreciate owning it. It's like the last Spawn game I needed, because I figured that's such a small subsection of games, I'd go for a complete Spawn collection.
Yeah.
So that had been the one that had been eluding me for years. And the Cartridge Club guy just offered it to me, and it's like, I'd rather it just go to someone that cares. That was awesome. The only donation I've ever gotten to my freaking collection. But it's a decent like arena fighter. Funny enough, I discovered it in an arcade because there was a stand-up arcade version of that.
Oof. Somebody lost money on that one.
Yeah, probably Capcom.
Yeah. The time it came out, most of that stuff was already kind of dead.
Yeah, it was I don't know if this is a thing outside of Canada. Palladium arcades.
Not here.
Yeah, that was one of the big malls a few hours away, and I went there, and there was just a stand-up of Spawn and the Demon's Hand. I'm like, what in the hell is this madness? So I played that for a while, and I had been looking for it ever since. Like that, and like Virtual On was another one I played there, and
Virtual One.
Another odd one in that arcade is they, at the time, and it tells you the era, is they had GameCube set up on like a mid-tier level, like up the stairs. Like you get partway up the stairs, and there's a side area where they had just GameCube set up, and they were playing Robotech Battle Cry of all things. Why?
Oh man, yeah.
Yeah, sorry for the side tangent, but that's a weird bit of memory. That's a weird bit of memory lane that I wanted to go down.
I'm trying to think what other like arcade came out like real late.
Mm-hmm.
I remember seeing there was an NFL Blitz cab. I remember seeing one of those at one point, and I was like, "That's strange." Like,
yeah, arcades are still around. They're just very weird.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, like, and the games are getting very niche too. Well,
yeah, like
most
I guess
of the
games very
they're like playing a movie, and you have like movement in the movie.
Yeah, or they're versions of mobile or other trendy games. It's like it's niche, but not in the way we would think of as niche normally. Like there was a touchscreen Fruit Ninja arcade machine at one point. Arcade version of Guitar Hero. I think I saw that in person once. I didn't play it. But like the most recent experience I had in the arcade was when I went to see Solo. That theater has always had an arcade. It's like a lot of the same games, weirdly enough. They've had House of the Dead 2 and Time Crisis 4 for over a decade. And they just never got rid of those machines.
It's not bad.
Why would you? It's like, hey, if you find some good games, keep them. But they had, and this is a good one, but I didn't get to play it much just because it was like I only had so much patience for it and I wanted to leave. But I had to sit down and try it. Was the Star Wars trilogy arcade, like the big sit down? Yeah. It's like, and I had just gone to see.
We were playing that, and then recently, we were in. It was a Dave and Buster's, I want to say, and they had a Star Wars arcade thing, but it was a whole thing. It was a big giant dome you sat in.
Oh, the old school arcade one.
The seat. No, it wasn't an old. It wasn't the old school arcade one. It was like, I want to say it was like not quite a 360 view, but at least like a cockpit.
Yeah.
And like the screen was all up, like you were fully immersed inside like the X-wing, fully immersed in it with pilot controls. It had like the single stick, and I think it had a throttle on it as well, and it was just fully immense. Like the screen was huge, like completely good.
Musty's guessing it was the Battle Pod.
Potentially. I think it might have been the Battle Pod.
Yeah.
It might have been the Battle Pod.
Yeah. But for me, that was just perfect. Yeah, I walked into the theater to go see Solo, and I always see what's in the arcade because it's just like you look to the left and you see the arcade, and it's like, okay, I'm going to go see Solo. I'm just going to take a quick look at the arcade. Hey there, Star Wars arcade. Perfect. I'll play you after.
Yeah, the original Star Wars arcade was such a good game.
Yeah. I still want to get that demo disc or the preview disc of Rogue Leader, whichever the third
GameCube one.
Yeah. Just for the curiosity.
I think I have that.
Yeah, to have the Atari arcade / version of Star Wars arcade, definitely.
Yeah, I know it's not a perfect port, but it's a version to have.
It's one of the few good ports.
I'm still gonna get that the Empire Strikes Back on Intellivision. Not because it's good, but just because it's an odd thing that exists.
Yeah.
Same one as on Atari, but it's on Intellivision. It's the only Star Wars game on Intellivision.
This is surprisingly difficult to find these X's.
You don't say.
This map does not line up very well.
Yeah. Actually, funny map story with Elder Scrolls for me. I did play a bit of Oblivion back in the day because I rented a 360 before I bought one. And that tells you how long ago it was. But I rented it with a bunch of games. Like, I think I rented pretty much everything that was out at the time of note, other than Full Auto and the Outfit. But which means I played a ton of Quake 4 and Perfect Dark Zero, and Project Gotham 3. But obviously, Oblivion was in there, so I played some Oblivion, and I had heard of Morrowind by that point. So I see on the map screen, oh, Morrowind's over there. So I decided to walk all the way to Morrowind. And it's a wall.
Yeah, they wouldn't let you get it.
Yeah. The best part about that, though, is I walked across the entire map because I wasn't familiar with the fast travel system yet. So I walked from point A to point B all the way to the edge of the game map.
I forget what game
to find nothing.
What the? Skyrim.
The only thing better than if they were actually lined up to the map was if they were just there as flavor, just to fuck with people.
I think they might be.
Bad.
I think they might be.
Yeah.
I've gone to.
Where are they on the map?
I've gone to 3 of them so far. One was a ritual stone. One was sort of near a dwarven ruin, and the other one is nothing so far.
Oh,
I think my favorite, without like getting elaborate about it, because I do want to leave the mystery if you do end up trying the game, Marmal, for like just the chance to run across it. But Jason might know what I'm talking about. The mission that you just run across by accident with the masks.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not going to elaborate on that, but it's just like you find masks. And there is a place that you also find. I will not elaborate further. It is awesome. I don't think I ever finished that, but it was very enjoyable at the time.
I like the drunken spat in this game, too. Where you have a drinking contest and end up drunk and you disappear halfway across the map. That makes me happy.
I don't think I ever got into that.
No? You got to go into the inn and talk to everybody. And eventually you'll find a guy and you have a drinking contest, and then you black out and you wake up halfway across the map in a place you've never been before.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
On that same note, sometimes, depending on what missions you've got clicked off of the checklist, it might be worth going to bed every now and again. Because stuff happens occasionally.
Yeah. Plus you get bonuses and stuff from sleeping.
Yeah. But like, I mean, sleeping in the bed versus just like letting it wait out in the middle of nowhere.
This one is not here. I am not finding anything on this road. Skyrim, you lied. Why you lie to me?
The funniest bit about that game is the amount of like high-level stuff you can get appointed to on the same character. So it's like, I am the leader of everything, but nothing makes sense.
It's true. And it's supremely easy to become overly powerful very, very early if you just play. You exploit certain things in the game.
Yeah. But there's that element of roleplay where it's like you are going on a specific arc for your character, and it's just like it kind of breaks once you go through all the different missions as the same person. It's like, I am leading the Magician's Guild, I am the leader of this group of bandits, I am all these other things, and it's like, I am leading every group I could possibly lead that's not evil.
Yep. Oh, I lead all the groups that are evil too.
Yeah, I want to do that as a separate character. That's the only thing I cut myself off from.
This game is less forgiving than Oblivion or Morrowind when it comes to going full evil and hostile.
Yeah.
Those games you could go completely hostile against all of the NPCs and still like manage to play the game and survive. This one makes it impossible. They chase you to the ends of the earth.
Yeah.
In this game, as soon as you hostile anybody that's a good NPC, they just chase you to the ends of the earth in this game.
Yeah.
It makes it not fun. Oblivion, you could literally just like hop up onto a building and snipe people and have a separate save file if it got too out of hand. But you could just snipe people and your demeanor would become evil, and you could just travel the world killing people and get away with it. You'd run into altercations here and there, but in Skyrim, it's like as soon as you attack anybody who's good, that's it. Your game is jacked. There's no fixing it.
Even by accident.
Yeah, no, trust me, it happens all the time. I keep multiple save files because that does happen. Sometimes quests glitch out and people freak out and they just go nuts on you. Yeah. Solitude. Here's a break in the road. We're going to go up this path. I'm trying to find these X's and nothing is panning out. Unless I just don't know what the hell I'm looking for.
Yeah.
It could be anything, right? I mean, like, it could be anything. It could be a freaking plant on the side of the road. Like, I have no idea.
Yeah, it could be what's it? Is it super hydlide on the Saturn? It could be a tree that could come alive and kill you.
Yeah. All right, here's a fork in the road. Backtrack up the hill. And it should be
love the stuff
right
that
here.
you find on maps in like Skyrim or Fallout 3.
Oh yeah, Fallout 3 and Fallout 4 are good for just wandering around and finding random crap.
Yep. Fallout 4. Red Dead's kind of like that too, especially Red Dead 2. Mm-hmm. There's all kinds of shit that you can just like wander around and stumble across and just be like, oh shit.
Okay, this X just got me into a fight with a spider, and that's it. This map can suck a fat one.
That sounds like you're having an existential crisis.
This is terrible.
Yeah, just like that joke.
Oh, man.
I'm going to show this just because this is sitting in the corner, and I really need to remember to put this on a shelf. But it's like, there's out of sight, out of mind, and apparently under Pez out of mind, because I covered this in Pez, and I forgot it was there. It is a comic, Archie versus Predator. This is a thing that actually came out. And it's in the classic art style. So it's like the juxtaposition of Predator horror with classic, like, digest Archie. Like, you can see on the back, like, it's Predator holding Jughead's head. This is awesome.
Yes, I do remember that.
It came out with some of the most bizarre comics.
Yeah.
Some of the most bizarre crossovers.
There's actually a more bizarre Archie crossover than this one that came out a long time ago. It was Archie meets the Predator. No, fuck. It's Archie meets the Punisher. And there's just a panel of them looking at each other, and they both have thought balloons that say, "What did I do to deserve this?"
I want to say back in they did a Archie and Sonic crossover at one point as well.
I wouldn't be shocked, but I don't remember that.
Yeah, that was way back. It was when, if I remember rightly, it kind of followed along the lines of when Sonic the comic in England like stopped. Like when they decided they were going to close that down, and it was like, okay, well, now the only comics we're going to get is going to be from Archie with Sonic, and it was like 1 or 2, and it like died out.
I have my paperbacks way too Wait, fuck, it's not even the right book, damn you. There we go. This isn't a Sonic thing, but oh, thank God it's on the back cover, so I can just show that. But there was a Flash comic that basically had a race against like an electric Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh,
it's bizarre.
Wow, that's kind of odd. That's very strange.
Yeah. If you're familiar with comic writers at all, it's Grant Morrison and Mark Miller. So like Grant Morrison did like a lot of the classic. Why am I blanking on stuff to say? Like
he did Batman, right? He did a couple Batman runs.
Yeah, he did like the like Batman R.I.P. and Batman and Son. Like he created Damian Wayne. He did like the Arkham Asylum, A Serious House on Serious Earth. And he did All-Star Superman, and a whole bunch of weird shit. He did like a weird Santa Claus origin story just called Claus recently. And it's like a D&D fantasy, like hardcore Santa Claus with an axe type thing.
That's awesome.
I still need to read that. That's on Kindle Unlimited and Comixology Unlimited if you want to go check that out. But anyway, and Mark Miller did like I think Kick-Ass and Klansman and like Old Man Wolverine. But the kicker with this is that is one of my favorite authors and one of my least favorite authors on the same book. So it just kind of came out like, this is a book.
Like, okay.
I don't love it or hate it. It exists. But I'm just trying to find some of the weird electric sonic race stuff. I think the story is literally called The Human Race. I get into a lot of weird, obscure comic shit. Not that the Flash is all that obscure, but still.
Did you ever come across a figure riding a horse that's a ghost?
No, I did not.
I'm trying to chase it, but it is so fast. I've never seen this come up. There's someone with a two-handed weapon it's a two-handed axe, riding a horse, and it's a ghost.
Huh.
That's what's up. Maybe the X's are something.
For real.
Yeah. Here's some panels of that, like, here's the thing over here, and just some weird timey-wimey going on over here, apparently.
Of course. Because when you're running that fast, timey-wimey needs to happen.
I mean, I think they're running through the time stream. It's a weird-ass comic.
I think the only actual... I think the one that I'm waiting for right now is The Walking Dead's Compendium 4.
I still need to buy those.
Waiting for them.
Yeah, those are hefty.
It is definitely... Oh, they're definitely the way to read it, though.
There is a better way, but it's more expensive. You can get oversized hardcovers of them.
Yeah.
But they're I think they're two trades, the equivalent of two paperbacks, but they're like $50 a piece, I think.
Yeah.
That's Canadian though. Yeah. So but like the only thing with those compendiums, I'll say if you've never gotten your hands on one, is never accidentally hold that by its cover or something, because it'll just all fall out.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
It'll tear itself to pieces. It is a cheap book. Not in price tag, but in build quality, it is horrible.
Yeah.
It's a cheap way to read that, but it's not a good way to read it necessarily.
I bought the first one on the Kindle.
That's actually probably better, honestly.
Oh, yeah, it was great. Like, it was fantastic. But then I was like, I need to get the actual hard copy ones for 2 and 3. So, got those holding down my bookshelf.
Yeah, not like size-wise, but like, look at this damn thing. That's the thickness of it. I'll grab I'll grab a standard paperback and put it next to it. That's like a standard new DC one next to that.
Yeah, and it is just monstrous. Absolutely monstrous. But I love it. I think that's part of it. Is to have
there's a comic called Monstrous that I need to read the volumes of that I have. That's apparently really good. But for
Headless Horseman. Holy shit.
Sorry to be talking about comics while you have this magical experience in Skyrim. But in terms of comics collecting, I've kind of gotten away from the paperbacks because these will probably hold like an okay amount of value. There's frost on this. This is up against a back wall. What the fuck? Anyway.
Polar vortex.
Yeah, not so much, but still, it's like, that shows how thin that wall is. Holy hell. Like, you can see cold on it. But
there you go.
The paperbacks, like big ones like this, you can still get something decent for on resale, but they take up a lot of space, and like those standard paperbacks, they're like cars; they depreciate immediately. But you can get like these oversized omnibus hardcovers. They're more expensive, but they are huge. Like that's compared to a normal one.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, and I say they're expensive, but like this is actually Grant Morrison's Batman. But the second one's coming out in June of these. I think there's going to be 3 total, but it's much better. It's like an inch or 2, diagonally larger, hardbound, usually of very good quality, better paper stock, just like really high quality stuff. I don't want to try and hold this open here, but no gutter loss really. But this one I think you can get on Amazon in the US for like $50 maybe. So like if you get like these
hard copy,
if you get like
everything.
Yeah, if you get these like relatively smaller ones like this thickness, they're not super expensive.
Yeah. That was one comic series that I followed. I think it was actually been the only comic series that I've followed issue by issue so far. Has been Chew.
Chew?
Delightful. Yeah, it's a delightful little comic.
That's an interesting book.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Let's see.
This is driving me crazy.
Oh God. Fuck. I had to put that Walking Dead back on the shelf.
6.
I've never seen this in this game.
Yeah, this was the fifth one that I ended up. It's the first one that I got. Yeah, it's the first one I got. Actual started following it bit by bit because I read the first 4 chapters in what they came out with was the omnibus of them. And they called the Omnivore edition, and it was that was good. Like that caught me up right the way up to.
Was that like one of those paperback omnis or a hardcover?
It was a hardcover Omni. Oh, it was a hardcover Omni. Oh yeah, it was. And so far, all they've done is just get more and more. They release. I think it was every time they released they released like 2 of the omnibuses, and they release another one that was like 1 and 2 compiled together. And I think they built it up to the entire series in just 1 book, if I remember rightly.
I don't think so. That would be a hefty book. Like that would be larger than
I mean, they're honestly not. There's not that much to them. Like that's the entirety of the end. Like the end of the series. That's the entirety of it.
Beginning to
end. Pretty much from about
what's the volume numbers?
It is 5 through 12.
Yeah. I would say that's
a
total series, however many that ran, probably 2 or 3 omnis for a good size. Because I'll show you a larger one, and this is when it starts to get challenging to read. This is Batman and Robin. This is 52 or more issues long. Yeah. This is a little hard to heft. I don't think that's half of how long that... this ran 7 volumes. If that's 12, you're not getting 1 book. If you did, you would not want to read it.
Yeah, no, it was a hefty. I want to say they were doing them because I know that they had the little omnibuses, and then they'd release a big chunk one, and I was like,
you might be thinking of deluxe editions because there's a mid-tier kind of hardcover thing. I'll show you. Yeah. Of course, I have examples on hand. Being next to the comic shelf is convenient. That's not a good indicator. This one. Darth Vader, of course it's Star Wars. It's this size, it's about 2 or 3 trade paperbacks thick, but also oversized. Is usually about 40 Canadian. So that's kind of your midpoint. Between the paperbacks and the omnibuses, that's where you get a couple collected and oversized before you get into the big expensive books.
Wow.
Let's see.
I have a lot of comics, if you can't tell.
I've gone around the entire map, following this headless horseman. I want to know where he's going.
Let's see.
I also like the another good thing about these hardcovers. This is a more recent one. This is the deluxe editions, like another kind of mid tier. I like for one, this is a matte and some glossy for like the characters on it. I like that design. But I like the wraparound artwork on the actual hardcover itself. They'll take like a double page spread out of the book and wrap it around the cover like that.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, those are good.
This is one that has the spine down the middle, so it doesn't look quite as nice. But like you get full wraparound art like that. I've got one that's just black, which is really disappointing. But you get cool stuff like that. That's why I like to invest in these instead. Because if you're going to take up that room, at least have something that's nice for the collection. You're going to be able to, if you want to clearance out, you're going to get a little bit of a return on investment.
Yeah, graphic novels are always better.
Yeah. Omnibuses go out of print. And they can go for insane amounts. Like, I read a really obscure book, relatively obscure, is Captain Britain by Ellen Moore. And that's, like, obviously ran only in the UK for the most part. And, like, spread to, like, several different magazines just in black and white. So it was, like, really hard to read at the time. But they made an omnibus of that, and I read all the stuff digitally, and I'm like, I really like this. I want to get a big book of that. So I looked up to see if it was in print. No. I looked up to see how much it was on resale. $400. I do not have that book, just so you know.
Wow.
Some stuff does get reprinted, but if you get something obscure like Captain Britain, you're gonna want to grab that if you're interested at all.
All right, there we go. I just looked it up yet. So there's three of the what they called the smorgasbord editions.
Nice.
It's 3 of them, and they ran 20 issues each.
Wow.
So
yeah, that makes more sense than one book.
Yeah, 120, and then 21 to 40, and then 41 to 60.
Another one I'll say, just in terms of like, if you want to dabble in those large hardcovers, but you want something that's self-contained and of nice quality and not super expensive, and I'm biased towards this book since it's one of my favorites, is this is relatively recent, so it'd still be in print, and it was $55 US on Amazon. So Silver Surfer by Dan Slott and Mike and Laura Allred. It's kind of like pop art style, like kind of a mix of retro comics and pop art. And it is fan-freaking-tastic. The paperbacks for this were garbage. I know, because I own all of them. They were such bad printing quality, and they go for nothing. So I can't get any money return on that. And the gutter loss is super bad. I think Galactus was like, he had no face, because he was in the middle of one of the pages, in a double page, so he just has no face, because there's that much loss. But like,
oh, wow.
Like, here's... No, that's not a good example. But this is a really well-bound book. Just super nice paper quality. I want to find a good double page to show. Work with me, book.
Well, I ended up where he was sending me. And it was a tomb.
That makes sense. That tracks the Skyrim.
Right?
But, another good way I can describe this is kind of like, if you're into Doctor Who at all, it's like Silver Surfer is basically Doctor Who. He gets a companion, and they go to different planets and have adventures. But it also kind of reads fantastically, kind of like a children's storybook. Like, there's the... What's it called? It's like the Empiricon, the Impossible City, or something like that. And it's just this absurd city in the middle of nowhere in space. And like the Never Queen and there's all this weird cosmic stuff. There's a good double page, and it's the Empiricon. I actually got the name right. Huzzah! Is Yeah, the Empiricon, the Impossible City.
Oh, jeez.
It is absurd, but fantastic. Another good way to show this off would actually just be to show the frickin' wraparound cover. What the hell was I thinking? Yeah, it's this. But this is a super high quality book, a great story, and it's not very expensive. So if you want to dabble in these special editions, this is a good one to start with. But of course, there's also Marvel Unlimited, so actually buying a Marvel book, meh.
I ended up so far from where I started.
Started cruising around on the individual trades that I had on the shelf. Came across, speaking of Archie and really strange crossovers they did, we got a Archie and Sharknado.
Oh, God.
What?
I forgot that exists.
Why? Why?
They just do weird shit. I love it.
It's always Archie, too.
Archie is great now, actually, because they just are in on their own joke.
Yep.
They have that classic style story. They have, there's more than just Riverdale on TV right now. Rest in peace, Luke Perry. They have Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, which is a more horror type thing that was on Netflix. I don't know if that aired on CW.
I did remember seeing that.
But that's based on one of the comics. That's where that came from. It's just this absurdist Cthulhian freaking horror comic out of nowhere. And this actually spun out of and the art in this is just really interesting as well. I haven't actually read this, unfortunately. I want to. But this spun out of Afterlife with Archie, which was a zombie book.
It's so weird.
And to continue down the hole of weird Archie, they did a complete modern day reboot, and it was actually good. Because they did this. It's just the new Archie series. It's from Mark Waid and Fiona Staples started it off. Famous writer from a whole bunch of different stuff. I don't really know what to say. Long run on Flash. Other stuff. I'm not thinking of anything. But Fiona Staples, if you saw Saga, she's the artist from that. So it's
okay.
It's really just a good modern day Archie story, and it's continuous rather than the digest short stories. And they take it in different directions. It's not as dour and teen drama-ish as Riverdale, thankfully. It's actually fun and vibrant. But yeah, this is a really interesting one. They're actually coming out with the first volume of the Varsity edition, which is a couple bound and hard copy as well. And they did they did a Jughead book. And there's cutaway gags in Family Guy in that. He gets conked on the head and passes out and has a dream where he's in Game of Thrones.
Totally self-aware of itself.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And there was another one, I didn't read it yet, but I think I have it through a Humble Bundle, called Reggie and Me, and it's a Reggie Mantle book told from the perspective of his wiener dog.
What?
Yes. This is what I mean. Archie is fantastic. That's not even touching the crossovers.
Who comes up with this?
Brilliant, brilliant people, apparently. They do crossovers with a bunch of old bands. They did a Kiss one, they did a Ramones one, and this is all within the last, 5 years.
I think I remember seeing the Ramones one, yeah.
Yeah, 5 to 10 years. They've been doing just this really interesting stuff. There was the title that Afterlife with Archie was playing off of was Life with Archie, which is they did a flash-forward story where it was telling 2 simultaneous alternate futures of Archie where he married either Betty or Veronica. It told both versions. And spoiler, but it was in the news, so it was just they will take it weird places. They ended that book by actually killing Archie. He saved somebody, just stepped in front of somebody that was getting mugged in the street and he got shot.
I guess, when you've had a comic that's been around since 1950.
Yeah, it's reinvent yourself. Just do weird shit.
What are you gonna do with it? All those people are dead that were reading it to begin with, so you might as well just do whatever.
But it's just I love that they just were like, you know what? This is a stagnated brand. Let's reinvigorate it and just go interesting places, get good creators on it.
Yeah.
And just do stuff with it. And like you still hear people talk about Archie for this reason. Is because one, they're the only comic that didn't leave the grocery store aisle.
Yeah.
Which was smart. Like the reason that comics aren't as popular as they could be is because the industry essentially screwed itself. They went full on comic stores, they got out of the grocery store, and here's the craziest part about comics. There is one distributor.
Yeah.
For the entirety of comics is Diamond. They're the only one that distributes comics to comic stores.
Diamond's one of the only that does collectible card games as well.
Yeah, it's like, what the fuck? How did you get there?
Because nobody else wanted to take up the reins.
Yeah, and they kind of like absorbed other distributors over time, and everyone just kind of fell out. But they've maintained this over the years. Is the weirdest part. It's like comics run now like they ran in the 90s, so no wonder.
Oof. Yeah, where like not a damn thing's worth more than a penny.
Yeah, where they printed way too damn much, and then everything just fell out from under them. They figured, yeah, this is fine.
Ah, my glow-in-the-dark Venom #1.
Yeah, the Death of Superman #1 and like the black bag that like no one could get rid of.
Yep. I mean, now in hindsight, my Venom #1's actually worth something, but for
if you get a variant,
years,
maybe
it was worth nothing.
Yeah, the funny bit is like in a thrift store, I got a Spider-Man by Todd McFarlane. Todd McFarlane #1. I'm fumbling over myself now. Running at the mouth just a little because I actually get to talk about comics for once without someone telling me to shut up. Feel free to do so at any point, by the way, if you need to.
No,
it was a Spider-Man, just adjectiveless Spider-Man by Todd McFarlane #1. It was a variant of it, so I picked it up. It was $20, and I have a friend that really likes Spider-Man, so I figured out I'd grab that and send it to him if he was going to reimburse me at least. I let him know beforehand. But I got home with that, and I'm like, okay, I'm just going to look this up for the sake of curiosity. It was worth $1.
Yeah, that's.
So I just ended up returning that.
A buddy of mine does live auctions on Facebook for comics, and most of his 90s stuff he just auctions for charity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of have to. Another thing that is really interesting in comics that no one really talks about, like in terms of a series, is the Transformers books are actually really fucking good. Like, it's the only thing in Transformers that's actually fucking good right now, other than Bumblebee. I still need to see that, but
me too. I haven't seen
I'll just give that caveat. Like, it's the only thing that's been like actually worth digging into for Transformers for like the entirety of the movies. The Prime cartoon was good, but it's not as good as these comics are. They started off kind of wonky, but once they hit their stride in Phase 2, they very good. I need to finish that. They ended the story finally that IDW started in 2005. It ran from 2005 to this year, and they ended it with a Unicron arc. And they're relaunching the continuity with a new #1 this month.
Oh.
I am very much looking forward to see what they do without all the baggage of the early weird stuff that happened.
That's always good. I remember for a while I was picking up comics in Toys R Us. I was grabbing the Mega Man ones.
Very nice.
As they were
I've got a few released.
of those. Yeah, they're nice. I was enjoying them.
Yeah. I've got issues. I think I have 1 through 12 in floppy. I got those mailed to me directly from Archie. Which, don't do that, because they do not send them with backing boards, and mailmen are stupid.
Oof.
So they rolled it up and stuck it in the little box.
Oh, of course. What is it? Betrayal. Have 1, 2. Another one of 1.
Another just oddity I have. Is this it? No, it's not. Another oddity I have is, I'll just grab this one. No, it's not. That's, of course, that's not in the open box. That's in the closed one. It's under a whole bunch of shit. I can't take it out. But I have Transformers Regeneration 1, where they picked up directly where the 80s comic left off but they let real time pass in the story, so it's picking up 24 years later with everything the continuity had left off and closing off all those gaps. Like, because spoilers for a 90s comic, they basically end it where they leave everyone to go about their business on Earth. It's like, well, Cybertron's fine again, so let's just go home. And they literally leave some of their villains on the planet. They don't resolve anything. It's just like, we've defeated the villain, goodbye. So 24 years later, Earth is just hell and Megatron rules it.
Understandable.
Yeah, it's like I think Cup says, we really need to check on Earth. It's been 24 years. And Optimus is like, they're fine. So he goes rogue and checks on Earth, and it's like a Mad Max world run by Megatron.
So, just go back from Earth. They're not fine.
Yeah, essentially. And they got the original writer and artist from that run to pick it back up. And that ran for like 21 issues. They took it from, it was like issue 80 or something that they ended on, and they ended the new run at 100. And the last cover, because the original Transformers comic, which started before the show, by the way, said like #1 in a 4-issue miniseries, and it ended up running like 80-something issues. So the issue 100 that came out before, like a couple of years ago, said number 100 in a 4-issue miniseries.
It's ridiculous.
But that's great. It's just like, I love the little notes of history there. I got all like the retro cover B versions of that. So it's really cool. Like just retro styled covers for all 20-something issues of it.
So I guess the only two that I could find on my shelf, the other ones might still be packed away, were 45 and 46 of Mega Man.
I think I have a Mega Man up on the shelf too.
Betrayal. The Ultimate Betrayal arc, or whatever. It was like one of 4.
Yeah, that's written by Ian Flynn, right?
But yeah,
not surprised. He's the only one that wrote any of the video game stuff. He wrote he wrote the Sonic comic for the majority of its run, I think. And he's still writing it. They went to a different publisher, and he's still writing the fucking thing.
Good old Sonic.
Yep. That ran for, I think, almost 300 issues consistently without stopping. That Sonic comic.
God.
And
well, I've chased the red X's, and they're nothing. And I looked online, and the general consensus is they are nothing. Some of them lead to, like, standing stones. Like the Warrior Stone, Lover Stone, Thief Stone, but other ones just lead to random points of interest. Nothing special. Damn it. Apparently I'm not special, because I don't find special things.
This is how overrun on comics I am, and why I'm stopping basically buying paperbacks as much as I possibly can. I just had to move my N64 games out of the way to find a Transformers volume.
Yeah, man.
They did these classic Transformers volumes a while ago. I don't have all of them. I'm just going to get them digitally because they're relatively expensive. They're like $24 a volume, and I just don't feel like getting all 8 of them that way, especially since 6 is out of print. Of course, there's 1 that's out of print.
Yeah, see, that's when it comes to comics. Like, I want to get something that I want to get them digitally so I can keep up, but I'd also want to get a decent reader to read them on.
Yeah, I've been tempted to get like the 12.9-inch iPad, just because I read a lot of comics, so that would be kind of worth the investment for me if I'm going digital. Plus, I need a new iPad, and it would work as kind of a laptop replacement. This is a 2012 laptop I'm doing this off of. Yeah, it's going to die in the middle of one of these Hangouts one day. Like, it's just going to stop. Also, in the Transformers comic, since it was Marvel initially, I forgot about this until I just flipped past it, and I had to do a double take. Spider-Man appears in issue 3.
Why
Black
just
Suit
cause?
Spider-Man is just in Transformers. But, oh, there it is. Oh, this is a good double pager because it's equally confusing on both sides. Just so you know how different the Transformers comic is from the cartoon, this is the cover for number 5.
Yeah.
And this is the first page. It's the Honeymooners.
What the?
The Transformers are all dead. You open it up, humana, humana, humana. And it's Shockwave after defeating everybody watching TV to study Earth.
That's the way you study Earth.
That's issue 5.
You most definitely.
It gets weirder. Yeah, it's absurd. But I always feel like after I looked at these comics, I'm like so sad for Shockwave in any kind of visual medium that's not comics, because he's just like, as you command, Megatron, I am just a servant on Cybertron, and that's all I do. And in the comics, he's like, I am like, I overthrow Megatron if I feel like it.
You already lead because I let you.
Yeah, it's like he operates on like malevolent logic, and if he thinks the leadership is bad, he'll just start ruling because he feels like it. He can take over whenever he wants. If it just doesn't suit his fancy, and someone else can lead. Also, the people that rescue the Transformers after everyone's defeated, Megatron teams up with Ratchet. It's the Autobots medic and Megatron going after Shockwave to rescue the Transformers. This book is fucking bonkers.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was 12:30.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I am out. I gotta be to work at 5.
Woof.
Yeah, it's fun.
Luckily, I got a message saying not to worry about work at 5. So.
Well, yeah, it's gonna be
report until 9.
It's gonna be 11 degrees Fahrenheit here tomorrow.
Ooh.
And I do concrete.
Yeah, no thanks.
It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be 30 for us. Oh, yeah, it's bad.
Oh yeah,
hey Ryan,
summer where you are.
Howdy.
Yeah, we're down in Georgia, so
it's always summer down
yeah,
south. It seems.
Yeah, but it's hilarious because everyone complains about it being cold when it's like 32. I'm like, yeah, it's so freezing. It's like, no.
Although down there, it does get really fucking humid.
Yeah, that's one thing I don't like. I don't do heat. Heat's terrible.
Jersey gets really bad for humidity, but Georgia is far worse.
You don't do heat,
and
but
it's
you
strange.
live in Georgia. This seems like an odd combination of things.
Yeah, I don't do heat, and I'm only in Georgia because I was told to be here. So
I'm not even supposed to be here today.
Like I just hate the heat. This is where I have to be for the next couple of years. So I'll put up with it. I figured if I can deal with the desert, I can do.
What up, NJ?
I got to get your stuff together.
Whenever you can, man.
Dude,
You sound like shit.
Working.
No offense.
Yeah, tell me about it. Work's been rough. I should not be up right now as late as I am.
Work's been rough. You're up super late chasing the Headless Horseman in Skyrim.
I really was. I ran around for like 20 minutes chasing that motherfucker, and he brought me nowhere.
Yeah, pretending to listen to me talk about comics.
No, I was listening to almost all of it.
I know, and I apologize.
But what do you want?
Anyway, so how's it going?
All right, guys. I'm out. I gotta go to sleep.
Okay, have a good night.
Yep.
Adios.
Bye.
Did I miss pickups?
Obviously, but there wasn't really much to go on.
I got 2 things I could share real quick.
Sure. I just got a Star Wars book, so I'm not going to show that.
So I got this last week because there was I wonder if I can use the coupon again, but I got a $5 off anything on eBay coupon. So I bought Decap Attack for the Genesis. Nope. This is high on my list. It's not an expensive Genesis game. It's complete. So it's complete. It's a little wear. It's got a little wear and tear on it, but it was $20 originally at the buy it now price, and then so pick it another $5 off. It's got a little wear and tear right there, but other than that, it's complete and looks fine for what it is. So I got it for $15, which I probably won't get at a convention at this price unless someone has it really below price. So that's the main reason I kind of jumped on it. And this just shipped in the mail today from Limited Run Games. I got Shantae. I got the Pirate's Curse. And I got the little card that came with it. So for the Switch.
Very nice.
So yeah. So, and I'm mostly limiting myself because Midwest starts in about almost a month or so, about a month and a week or so.
You're limiting your run.
Yes. Limiting my purchases.
Yeah.
But yeah, just finish editing Prime.
Very nice.
Send you have Musty a message letting him know that it's been shipped to his way for clearance. It's always good. Just want to get those over with, to be honest. It's a long edit. So other than that, I can start playing games again.
Nice. Yeah. I'm going to let you guys talk to each other by yourselves for like a minute or two, because I've been talking nonstop about comics for like 30 minutes, and I need to get more water. I've been sitting here for like 2 hours, and I haven't gotten another cup of water. So I'll be back.
We'll just be quiet for 2 straight minutes.
Hey, I was quiet for 30, so go ahead.
Okay,
that was good. Yeah, the only pickups I had was the Dreamcast.
Oh, one of my favorite consoles.
Oh yeah, I came with
I got
came
one
with Code Veronica.
Got one right there. Right there, if you can see it. Right there. With the arcade
mine was
behind me.
This guy. Mine came with a flash gun.
Okay. It's only good for one game in the US, I believe. There might be a second that I'm not thinking of.
I got Dino Crisis and House of the Dead 2, so hopefully it's one of those two.
House of the Dead 2, for sure.
Fantastic.
I think there's a Silent Scope game, and it might work for that as well. I want to say I think there was a lot more gun games in Japan.
A lot more on-rail shooters.
Yeah.
That. I think the game, the Dreamcast had a fair amount of them, like Virtucop and.
I want to say though, I think there's more, but I think Japan is the one who really got more of the light guns for Japan or for the Dreamcast, but there sure is a whole lot of fighting games, so I hope you like fighting games.
Yeah, no, they're not bad. But I got a Resident Evil Code Veronica with it, and that was complete. And see other notable Phantasy Star Online.
Is that still playable without the online though?
I haven't told they still have servers up. People still have servers going somewhere. Which I was like, that's surprising.
Yeah.
Oh, you bite me. But yeah, they picked that up, and I've carried Jet Set Radio around with me for ever. Never had a Dreamcast. Never had a Dreamcast for it, but I had that game.
I never really see Dreamcast games in stores around me. It's mostly conventions. That's the only time I can really pick them up. So,
yeah. I just looked on. I was looking around on Facebook on the marketplace, and saw they had the bundle for sale for $120. I just pitched him $100 and was like, "Hey, you take it?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure. $100 will do."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That was a good pickup. I like that one in the grand scheme of things.
I mean, ultimately, you can bring your games and play them anyways too. So
exactly, I picked up the HDMI adapter for it as well.
Yeah. If you do the burning, though, obviously just make sure to pick up the right discs. Don't just go for the cheapest ones. They don't fucking work.
Yeah, no. I think, like, as far as it's going to go for, like, Dreamcast, I'm probably going to pick up just the ones that I had back in the day. Like Crazy Taxi 2.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
starting to go after some white label variants, even though I had orange label variants growing up. I just kind of want the white label of the original Crazy Taxi, you know?
Yeah.
I have very simple desires for the Dreamcast collection, like just multi-plat stuff that's better on it. Like, I'm basically the only ones I'm like active off the top of my head looking for, like Soul Reaver and Rayman 2.
Yes,
I picked up Rayman 2 at Portland, so that was on my list for a while.
Yeah, they're not ones I really want to spend a whole bunch on, but they're ones I would eventually like to get.
Mm-hmm.
Especially Soul Reaver, because that's the only other place you can play it, and the PS1 port of that is garbage. It's like the original version, but like in terms of how it's aged, the fucked up thing is the Dreamcast version is the definitive edition of Soul Reaver, and it's the only one that's not gotten re-released somewhere. It's the only one you can't buy right now.
I think Rayman 2 is also like one of the definitive versions. Like the PS2 version has like some issues, like some I don't want to say errors, but it definitely has some issues. And I think the PS3 HD re-release of it is also like just a port of the PS2 version, which isn't the best. So the Dreamcast is technically a better version, and the 64 version is better as well.
Yeah. But like for Soul Reaver, you can buy the PS1 version on the PlayStation Network. You can get the PC version on GOG, but that's just an enhanced port of the PS1 version, so it's got all the same issues. I don't think there's even analog stick support on PC. Dreamcast has it, though, and it has enhanced character models. Like, they redid the textures on all the character models. The PC version came up before the Dreamcast version, which is why that version on GOG isn't the best, because they were just working on PS1. And then they basically did an enhanced remaster of the game and put it on Dreamcast.
Wasn't there MDK on the Dreamcast as well?
MDK 2, I think.
Yes, and that's what I want to get hold of.
MDK?
So I remember having MDK 2 on the PlayStation 2.
Does that stand for something?
I think. But no, it is legitimately called MDK.
I'm gonna look this up.
Yep. So
maybe it may be, the death kill or whatever, but as far as what's on the box, it's legitimately MDK. Like,
the first one in the US at least. Oh, it looks like PAL region as well. MDK was on PS1. MDK 2 was on Dreamcast. And then the PS2 was like MDK 2 Armageddon. So just like an enhanced port of that, obviously. That game,
and that's the one I had.
That game's cheap.
I had MDK 2 on the PlayStation 2. I was able to play the first 3 levels, and then my PlayStation was having issues reading DVD ROMs because that's what the damn PS2 did. They kept doing that, and I wasn't able to play like 3 or 4 games. And it was MDK 2 was one of them, and Alien versus Predator Extinction was the other one that I couldn't play because it was a DVD ROM instead of it being a CD.
On PS2?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I got the Xbox
just
version
killed
of that.
me. Yeah. I mean, I really liked Extinction. I really did. For the moments that I could play it.
Welcome to the extremely small club that played Alien vs. Predator Extinction. Nice to have you here.
So good. It was so good.
And like I said, I guess you got a little bit
further in that one.
I am hesitant to replay it. I am afraid that just will not live up. There it is. I
that's
found a copy.
Being like,
it's in a black case. It's just the disc. I don't even know if this is the official cover, but it's wonky as fuck. I found it for $6. It's like,
yeah.
So it's like, I'm gonna grab that on Xbox. Why not? Because it's kind of it's not expensive, but it's kind of mid-tier price. And for an RTS licensed game on the Xbox, you don't want to pay too much.
No. But there was, oh man, I just remember it was good, and then I remember it being snatched away from me because it was like
that
I was getting a little bit, and then the PS2 was like, nah, I don't play this anymore.
Yeah, that one, unless it appeared in a comic or something first, which I would not discount because that's like the majority. That's actually where the entire Aliens versus Predator concept came from, other than like the Easter egg and Predator 2, obviously. But like the actual brand of Alien versus Predator was comics. That's where that came in. So they made the games based on that. That I believe is one of, if not the first appearances of the Pred Alien hybrid.
Oh, and loved it. Absolutely loved it.
Yeah, and then we got in the movie and did not love it.
Oh yeah, no, they botched that up entirely. In my opinion, botched it. But
yeah, how do you make a movie that's worse than a fucking PS2 RTS?
Oh, and that's what I just love the fact that they're taking these small pieces and I'm seeing it coming from the comics and being put into the movies and be like, oh, that's great. Too bad the overall thing is just kind of like it's fun, but
shit.
Yeah, it's fun but terrible, but okay, I'll take it.
Speaking of fun but terrible,
I'll take it.
Predator comic things I need to wade into soon because I bought it again because they put out a new collection of it. I'll show the original one first because I have it. Batman versus Predator.
I had that cover book. I mean, just that comic right there. I had that cover. I had that one back in the day.
The trade paperback of this. Before I show the new one, I know just that I went on an odyssey for this damn thing because I went across the border to visit relatives a couple times as a kid, and I took this comic over the border, or I bought it across the border. I can't remember, but we were at this like Mexican restaurant, and I left it there. We drove back and got it.
Oh man,
because I loved this book as a kid. So it's like I don't think we had crossed back over the border, but we had to turn around and go back. But I got the new edition of it that came out like a year or two ago that has all 3 Batman versus Predator miniseries. I didn't even know there was more than one until like a couple years ago. They're awful, but I would assume they're awful, but I want to read them.
Is it all through Dark Horse, or does DC have their name on it as well?
DC has their name on it, but it's like a co-production, but I think Dark Horse is the one that puts them out. They do this. There's Aliens and Justice League. There's Superman and Alien. They do all the crossovers. They put out new versions of all of these crazy, stupid things.
I bought the original floppies of the Turtles with Batman, the original run. Now I think the third run's going to start this year, but I don't know. Those are always good. They're fun. So
yeah, they might not be good, but they are fun.
Yeah, I found it interesting, the interaction between Splinter and Splinter essentially was the culprit behind why everyone was in Batman's world.
Oh, you're talking about Batman and
Turtles,
Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. They're making a movie out of that now.
I checked that out.
Yeah,
it's a good time. So
yeah, if you're interested in getting like the deluxe hardcover of that, I think I've seen it pop up on Book Outlet a few times. I can send you the link if that ever pops up again.
I'll probably just buy the singles because I saw that they still have the singles at my comic book shop.
Batman's Predator fighting armor.
Did you see the new Predator movie yet? The one I was raving about on the Discord?
Yeah.
That's
a good one. That's a good spread for that. That's a good spread for that. The art's great in these, but the stories are probably awful.
Oh, I mean, what's it going to be? Batman trying to figure out why the hell the Predator's here. they fight a couple times. Batman figures him out, and then Batman wins. More than likely.
Probably, yeah.
Like,
they made 3 of them, so you might lose one at a time.
There's one rule we all know in Batman comics is that Batman
wins.
Always wins.
Yeah. That and just Predator, just unfortunately how badass Predator is. You can never come out on top, quite honestly.
Yeah.
even in the first movie, which is like the best action film of all time.
Exactly. Even in that one, he still ends up he still loses, and then fighting Danny Glover, he loses that one.
He hasn't had a good movie since that first movie. Well, I would say Alien vs. Predator 2.
Predator 2 is okay.
Alien vs. Predator 2. Alien vs. Predator.
I wouldn't say that's good, but it's really entertaining.
That's the second best. That's the second best Predator movie of all time.
Oh, I'd have to watch that in 2 side by side.
I really liked Predators.
God,
Predator 2 is not good. Alien vs. Predator is not good.
If I watched Predator 2 and Aliens vs. Predator 2 in the same night, I might start drinking.
Yeah,
I have never drank in my life or had any desire to. That might put me over.
The thing about Alien,
where is this
Predator probably going forward since the first Predator movie? What makes it great is you don't see the Predator until like the very end. It's like I don't know if it's the Jaws effect kind of, but you just get like the glimpses. And
it's fantastic.
It's terrifying because you don't see it. And now you just see him all the time. Just like, here you go. You know what he looks like. Here he is.
And now that's what they need to do to have like an effective Predator movie. They need to have it go back to the whole, because Predator wasn't the main thing. That's not why they went into the jungle in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Predator was just there. It was a bog standard action movie. We go in, we fight the drug lords. Yeah, here we go. So they all bust in there. They bust up the drug compound. Yeah, here we go. And all of a sudden,
they're being hunted.
Huge friggin' twist.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, no, there's a giant alien thing here. We need to kill it. What's going on?
That's
what pins it.
Most manly action movie of all time, too.
Oh, it's amazing.
You said something about like that pins it, and I don't know why that shot me back to this memory from the X-Men cartoon in the 90s. But if you ever saw that episode, sorry for the side tangent, like I've done anything but side tangents this whole time. But if you ever saw the episode where they went skiing in the X-Men cartoon, it was like a situation where a small avalanche happens and Gambit gets knocked out and everyone's kind of buried. And so Wolverine gets up and starts wading through the snow to get Gambit up because he's just knocked unconscious by a tree. And he's like, guy doesn't break a sweat against Apocalypse or Magneto, but what bails him? A pine tree.
I want to say that was, oh man, the 90s cartoons. I had them on a VHS.
Yeah, that's when they were going to visit Nightcrawler, I believe. I think they're in Germany and they're visiting Nightcrawler, and some of the X-Men go skiing for reasons. But if you're wondering why
they're all humans, right? I mean, they all live lives. Mutants can ski if they want.
Yeah, I know. It's like, for the sake of the plot of the show, I'm not sure why they went skiing.
It'd be funny if like Iceman was like incapacitated or something like. He's like,
it would be funny if Iceman was in the show.
Yeah.
But if you're wondering why I was bent over doing what the fuck for the past 10 minutes, I was looking for my other Predator comic, which I'm the one that organized that shelf. I should have known where it fucking was. But here it is, Predator Kindred. This is the only other one I've had of the Predator comics. It's probably not very good.
Yeah, I got, as far as Predator, because I just went on a tirade with Predator and just trying to find every little one that I can get hold of. I had Cold War, Big Hunt, I think it's called War Game or something.
Any generic action title you can think of Predator. Yeah, any generic action title you can think of, Predator had it on the end of a comic.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think one of them's like Predator Sands of Time or something, where the front cover is him like holding 2 nukes. Like, Why? I mean, it's Predator. Why not? Sure.
I don't know why I didn't remember this, but this entire comic is basically Predator fighting rednecks.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. But, Dark Horse actually put out like omnibuses collecting a bunch of these old comics together for cheap. I say omnibus, but they're the only weird company that puts omnibuses out as paperbacks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I hate that naming convention, but they do it.
You know, got an AVP,
one company
omnibus that's a paperback kind of thing.
Yeah, all their omnibuses are paperback. It drives me nuts. It's like every other company. Deluxe, oversized hardcovers, expensive, worth your time. Dark Horse, the cheapest possible paperback you could possibly find. I mean, I like that they do that. I just don't like that they call them omnibuses.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, it's pretty good, though.
Yeah, they're great. I just hate that they call them that. But the Predator and the Alien Predator comic I need to track down because I used to have the trade paperback of this. I know it exists. I did not fucking imagine it. But I lost it at some point, and I was never able to find it again. I could not find it online, but I need to find it again. It was Aliens versus Predator versus the Terminator.
That does ring a bell.
Yeah. I mean, of course it rings a bell. They crossed over fucking everything. But you just held up Archie versus Sharknado. If there's a crossover, they've done it. But it might help if I ever actually Googled the fucking thing. That might help. But this is a comic I think about every now and again that it vanished from my collection at some point for no reason. Aliens.
Back to Predator for a second. I want to talk a little bit about this new movie. And Great Shane Black. He's starting to make the list of Josh Whedon where I don't watch their movies anymore. Josh, isn't it Josh Whedon?
Two S's.
Josh. Josh Whedon. Is that right?
Joss, not Josh.
Who cares? This movie sucks anyways. anyways, what's it called? This movie is so bad. This new Predator. And it seems like they just completely forgot like some kind of continuity with like the Predator's vision where they can just see normal. They're like, oh, granted, it still is like, blue and red and everything with the heat, but now it's like, I clearly remember in that first movie when he takes off the mask, it's like blind on Earth.
Yeah.
This one's like, nope, I'm gonna use an old mask to track down my mask, and it's looking perfectly fine, like it's not an issue. They can see perfectly fine without their mask, and I'm like,
weird.
That's not my main problem with the movie. There's a kid who can just I guess a kid can crack the Predator code, apparently. That some
There's
autistic kid. So
or a comic. It's one of them.
Yeah.
It's probably horrible, but I want it.
So essentially there's only like really one good thing Predator wise.
The first movie.
Yeah, and that's about it.
Yep.
It's such a cool. I remember watching that movie. I was underage, but I watched the edited for TV version. And my dad let me watch it because he knew what it was.
What was it? 10 minutes long?
Nope. You just didn't see like there's cutting away, like the scene where the one guy gets his where the guy's like just cuts his chest. You just hear and I think
when Mac gets killed, they block that one out. Like he's just crawling underneath the trees and he turns his head, and then like when he gets shot in the head, there's no you just don't see the end of that. It just cuts away.
It's a lot of cutting away before something happens.
I want to say when Carl Weathers gets his arm cut off, and that entire scene, like there's a lot of cutting back and forth, and there's you don't see it really. You don't see his arm there shooting.
I think
still shooting the rifle.
I think I saw the arm shooting, but you don't see it cut back to his arm being cut off, basically.
Yeah,
So
like
So,
yeah, they're very, very careful with how much blood gets shown.
Yeah,
and that's
there's
really
there's a
and
lot of
course,
cutting, but you don't
dialogue.
see any of it.
mm-hmm.
Yeah,
But I'll tell you that, like, as a kid seeing that, like the next day I was drawing, like the picture of the Predator, like in my notebooks, basically, just because I was taken back by it. I was like, this was amazing, you know.
absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And that laugh at the end, I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. That was fantastic.
So good.
Good times. Yeah, that was a great movie to watch as a kid.
Mm.
I would let my 8-year-old nephew watch that movie because that's how old I probably was when I saw that movie. So
apparently I was 11 when that Predator Alien Terminator trade came out.
But I'll tell you this, it made me a fan. And then I saw that second Predator movie. I'm like, oh, this one wasn't as bad.
It was all right.
It was okay.
I was excited.
Oh, I was incredibly excited for that one too. And then
excited to see it, and I was like, all right, it's all right. I like it.
I thought the opening was interesting, where you saw like the skulls and like the bodies hanging in the building or something like that right at the beginning. I'm like, oh man, this is off to a good start. And then yep, that's about it. Danny Glover.
I think that's what the magic that the second one still has is that
it's just
they still kind of play that. They kind of play that. What's going on? Because it's like just cops doing normal things. Oh, we got to fight the Colombian drug lords. Like the drug gangs are coming through, and then something else is taking out the drug gangs. Like, what is it? I mean, you see a little bit more of. I guess you see a little bit more of the Predator, but it's still that kind of like.
It starts out like a weird
when you do see him,
mystery.
Yeah, like you do see him, but it's very quick and it's very like. One shot and he's out. You don't see a lot of extended scenes.
But then it becomes the Predator versus too old for this shit. It's
exactly, and that's where it kind of like guys,
like you can kind of enjoy the absurd stupidity of that movie though. Like visually, it's a great idea, but like just the story and execution, it hit or miss. The sets and the props in that are really good, but. I like this stupid joke in it. It's the one where the Predator comes in through the apartment window and does like the medical stuff, and the old lady comes out with the broom. Is like, what's happening? And it's like she's like calling, it's like Herb, but then he pops out, scares the shit out of her, and then Danny Glover pops over and jumps out again. And he's like, and it's like, okay, it's okay, I'm a cop. And she's like, I don't think he gives a shit.
And that's little stuff like that.
That stuff is what's good about that movie. It's not a good movie, but it's fun. It's fun and it's stupid. It's like
it is fun.
It's like the Street Fighter movie. You don't watch it because it's good. You watch it because it's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, and you watch that to see Zangief watching the little tiny screen in that tent of the stuff that's directly behind them. The band starts coming down. He's like, "Quick, change the channel!" And everyone turns around. And is like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
But one thing that you do get to see in Predator 2 that you didn't with the other one is when everyone thinks they get smart and they're like, "Oh, see, he sees in thermal. Like we just run around in thermal suits and they won't see us." And then that's when it clicks. It's like, no. The Predator didn't become the best, highest one in the food chain by just seeing in thermal. And then you see the multiple visions, which is like, oh, we didn't know he could do that. So that's the surprise of.
Just because you think he's primitive doesn't mean
get out of there now. Exactly. Like, oh, it's so. Like I said, Predator 2 is not the greatest, but. It has its moments that builds
it was
that
a great
lore.
idea.
Yes.
It didn't quite hit. It didn't quite get there.
Sweatpants that has a belt loop. Look at the pants. Look at the pants Danny Glover wears in Predator 2. It's literally like jeans sweatpants. It's sweatpants with a belt loop. So it's sweatpants that you can wear a belt with.
Okay.
Early 90s.
Oh yeah.
I would love to have a pair of sweatpants like that.
I was about to say, well, it was a heat wave, but I'm like, that makes less sense.
I need my sweatpants.
It makes no sense, but it's fantastic.
The thing that comes with the Predator movies to me is that I will dig into each movie and find lore that I love about it, and I will attach to it. And
I was going to say the exact same thing. The best thing is the lore and just the minutia of it. Like seeing the ship, all the different kind of predators, like him getting handed the old gun at the end. It's like that just sends your mind on a journey that the movies could not possibly tell.
All the other craziness that's going on. Like from each and every single movie is just like, yeah, overall the movie sucks. However, I love these parts. Like Alien vs Predator, I loved the arsenal that we saw. At the Predator's disposal.
It's a very high budget, ambitious flop.
Oh yeah, it's
like one of those things that it's you dig in, you find the minutia, but it's almost you almost want to see how it was made more than you want to see the actual movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like because that you think might be a more interesting story than they actually told in the film. It's like when I watched all the Mad Max movies, like the original 3, because I hadn't seen them.
Yeah.
I had seen like a bit of the first one, I think, and it didn't click with me because I had heard it was like this legendary film over all these years, and I ended up watching this like low budget Australian thing, and it's like, okay, that didn't meet my expectations. I rewatched it, and it's better. It makes more sense, like just with expectations where they should be. But and I got to the third one. I'm like, you're just watching Thunderdome, like, what the fuck is this movie?
Oh,
I hate it, but I'm fascinated.
Oh, Thunderdome is... Oh, it's great.
It's great how awful it is.
It is. Oh, it's so
like
good.
Okay, now I get the Borderlands connection.
Yeah.
I bought that shit on Blu-ray, and it's like the first quarter of that movie, I'm like, oh, I regret the decision to buy this. And then by the end, it's like, I hate this movie, but I love that I bought it.
Oh yeah, no, it's definitely one. It's definitely a good one. I've been looking to see. I think I saw it in Walmart where there was a 4-pack of all of them and Fury Road, which might pick up.
Yeah, there's actually a decent version of the first one put up by Shout Factory. But you can always count on Shout Factory for decent collector's editions of like older stuff. I don't know if that's the version I have, and I don't remember what special features are on there. I know there's like some kind of documentaries for Mad Max, but I think they might only come with like the high octane edition or some shit. I wish there was a documentary about Thunderdome. That would be amazing. I want to see the making of that fucking movie.
I think there was just a giant like non-disclosure agreement they got put out that doesn't have an expiration date on it.
It's like
no, I wasn't saying anything about this.
Yeah, they just release a book of the making of, and you open it up, and every page just says "fuck."
It's all just like blacked out, censored, apart from like 2 or 3 like words. Like, that's no use.
Yeah, it's just variations on elaborate cursing throughout the entire book, and there's not even any details of the movie. It's just what was going through their minds the entire time. It's like fuck, 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 fuck. This is not working. Why are there children?
Please don't make me
Why are they singing?
Oh, it's the best.
It's like what was his name?
Like with this,
what was the captain that they called him? Captain something. Shit. But the reason it's funny is like because the accents, it sounds like they're saying Captain Wanker.
Man. No, but as far as
the kids do like a sing-song repeat of the name, so it just makes it worse.
Oh man, the big guy, Master Blaster, or
Master Blaster, and what was his fucking? What was the little person's name?
God,
that movie's
Master
awful, but it's amazing. No, one of them was Master and the other was Blaster. The little person was Master, the big guy was Blaster. Jesus Christ, that's in the first quarter of the movie. It gets weirder from there. There's a train chase.
Now, the newest Predator movie, I think everyone had an expectation for it. Of it being
low or high, you had an expectation.
The Predator. Well, that's the thing. Like, it was everyone's expecting kind of what they'd seen before in the last Predator movie. Like, they saw in Predators.
They wanted Predator, the Force Awakens.
Exactly. They just wanted, like, we need, like, action and all this stuff. Yeah. But if you look at it as not so much as the action horror kind of stuff, you more look at it as like an action
comedy.
Kind of.
Sort of.
Kind of comedy, but not as almost comic relief. Like, it's not to be taken seriously, and the movie doesn't take seriously.
Isn't Key
they don't
in that movie
seriously? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Huh.
And that's the thing is like, and they are fantastic in it. Honestly, it's having that.
Tom Jane's in that movie. I need to see this absurd piece of garbage.
Oh, it's good because.
It's good because it's bad.
It kind of struck. It is almost because it struck home with me because those guys. I mean, hell, I see the guys that I work with, like in them, like them all being like crazy vets and stuff. Like, yeah, I see that. Like, I see how that does reflect, but that just might be.
Like, it may not be the best execution or the best idea, but you can see something in it.
Oh yeah, I can see it, and the fact is like, yeah, we would have like no shit, like vets would have that kind of freaking response to shit. Like when crazy shit goes off, we're not usually the ones to go like hide and shit. We're the ones to crack real dark jokes about it, and like, not gonna lie, we have a fucked up sense of humor. It's what we do.
It's how you deal with things.
Exactly, and it kind of goes with the territory. So like, I drew that out of it. Like, these guys, they're great, and that kind of brotherhood between it. Like, yeah, they're gonna sit there and joke on each other and shit, but in the end, they're all brothers with it. Yeah. So like, I mean, that's the thing. Like, just understanding where those guys came from. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they seemed like the goofy comic relief or whatnot, but. Yeah. That struck home. Like, that makes sense. And...
They may not have stuck the landing, but they tried.
Oh yeah. And just
to go off of the movie that I liked, I can't relate to that personally, obviously, but I can see what you mean. But just in terms of camaraderie in a film with like a unit of just fucked up people, Rogue One. I like that movie, but there's problems with it, especially like on the camaraderie note. Like, there are like. It feels like these people have known each other less than a week, but they're like the closest knit group by the end of it. It's like they kind of like quickly relate to each other based on just their own fucked up lives and the stuff they're being put into together. We didn't get enough of that. I think you get a better dose of that in the novelization because like you get a whole friendship between Jin and Bodhi in the book. It's like that's actually good. You actually appreciate Bodhi as like a good character. It's like, I like the relationship in this. Too bad we didn't get it in the movie. But the thing that really got me in terms of like, what the fuck are you talking about in that movie? Like, and I like the movie. This is just like a part that struck me odd. And I can admit like problems and things I like that. It's just like, I don't like the mentality and it's like, something's either perfect or it's shit. It's like, you can critique things you like. It's fine. But like, the part where like they're going off to like the final battle, I think it is, and Baze, the guy with the big gun, he calls Jin little sister, and she smiles at him like, "You guys have known each other for like 3 days. The fuck are you talking about? Why is he calling you little sister, and why aren't you disturbed by that?"
That's the kind of that kind of mentality where you have to make it as a team. regardless of how long you know someone. Like, you have to have that trust with them, and it's something that it's not easy to do, but it's something that you're almost instilled. Like, you kind of have to. Like, when it all comes down to it, you have to, and you have to be able to rely on that person, and that's where it all gets thrown out. Like our individual qualms we may have doesn't matter at this moment in time. Like, what's going on, that mission right now, that's what we need to go hit, and we need to do that together, regardless of what you think of me and what I think of you. Because as soon as this is done, we can go into our separate tents and be like, nah, fuck you, I'm done.
Yeah,
but when we come together to
you kind of grow close in a way. Even if you may not like each other, you are connected in that way after that experience. Even if it's a short experience, if it's an intense moment in your life, you make a connection through that, no matter what it is. And I feel like a lot of Rogue One, it was like a lost in translation situation because of the bad production cycle of it. Like, there were different cuts of the movie, and like maybe that's from a different cut where there was more fleshed out there. It's like you don't feel like they're a team, really. You don't feel like they care about each other all that much.
Yeah, it just happens.
They exist together for a little while and then not. I'll say.
Yeah.
But which is why that's a weird one. I like that movie, but it's kind of weird because I like the novels. If you can't fucking tell, because if you've ever seen like to the right here, I've got like 200 Star Wars books. I've got most of the canon ones. So I read way too much Rogue One shit. I like that movie, but I kind of hate that timeline because I've read every bit of every one of those people's lives, and I'm kind of done. Cassian's getting a TV show, and I'm not sure I want to see it.
I'm trying to see. I don't see where am I with the books, but we have quite the extensive thing of Star Wars books. Oh, nope, there they are. They're stacked up back there.
I get to talk about Star Wars books and comics tonight. This is great.
Guys, I gotta go. It's midnight, so
that's fine.
I'll talk to you later.
No. Yeah, see ya.
Bye.
But to continue on, where are these? Yeah. Why did I sort these in chronological order? It makes it so much harder to grab individual books. Fuck. You know what order to read them in, but you don't know where they are. Especially when you put Kung Fu movies in front of half of them. That was a bad decision. Not that we really need visual representation of this, but I've come this far.
Yeah. Like, that's just one of the stacks.
Oh, shit.
That my wife had.
I've got
just one of them.
It's a hot mess over there, so I'm not going to turn the camera over. But I've just got an entire 5 high bookshelf full. And the Legends, the old books, they're vertical stacked, and there's 2 rows of them back to back. And the bottom shelf is just comics and making ofs and art ofs. But my point is, with the Rogue One stuff, I almost enjoy it more as a book trilogy than as a movie, because
makes more sense now.
And why I did that whole fucking journey for no reason. I have way too much stuff in front of the books is the main problem. Otherwise I would have just been able to grab them. But I don't know if I would have enjoyed the or appreciated the stuff with Jin's father with what's his name? Doesn't matter. You know who I'm talking about. Mads Mikkelsen's character. And Krennic, played by... I can't remember the one guy's character's name, and I can't remember the guy's fucking actor's name. Ben Mendelsohn. Anyway, I've been rambling a lot, but that's like... Their whole history is in this book. This book is fantastic. But like, I wouldn't have appreciated their whole dynamic and those characters as much had I not read this book before I saw the movie.
That's what Rogue One suffered from. It's
like you don't really care about the
realistically, you only have 2 hours to tell the story they wanted to tell.
Yeah, and this huge ensemble.
But there's a lot more to it. There's a lot more to that story
Yeah, and they kind of
But you
fumbled it
can't
just
do
because
it.
of the production. It got weird in the
Yeah.
editing, kind of like Solo did. But like, yeah, this book is fantastic, and it goes over Galen Erso and Orson Krennic's history. And there's like obviously Death Star stuff in here and Tarkin stuff in here. This is great. It gives you a really good history of that, and it starts like Jin is born at the beginning of this book, so like from the birth of Jin Erso on, it's like you get that, and then you get like the split off where she's adopted by Saw up to the beginning of Rogue One in this. In Rebel Rising, which this is good. It's not as good as Catalyst, but it's also fun. Well, fun, maybe not the right word. And then you have the Rogue One novelization, which gives you a lot more backstory on each character, or at least a lot more appreciation for them. So, so you get Jin's entire life from beginning to end in 3 books. Yeah, and it's just like that's the entire story. I feel like the only thing I haven't seen her do is go to the bathroom, which the internet will take care of that, I'm sure. But
more than
yeah. It's just like there's all of that, and there's stuff with the partisans in like Battlefront 2 Inferno Squad, and what's the other one? The one that annoyed me most, which I shouldn't have expected much out of this because it was like a young reader novel, but they had Guardians of the Wills, and it was about Baze and Chirrut. I mostly read that book and I'm like, is there any history with Baze that would make him refer to Jin as a little sister? Like, does he have a little sister or something? But it's like, there's nothing in that book. It's a decent adventure, but it's for little kids, so it's like not the deepest thing.
Yeah.
But I read all that. I read the fucking young reader Baze and Chirrut novel. It's like, I am so fucking done with Rogue One. I am so fucking done.
Yeah.
It's like, I like it, but I hate it because I've read too much.
Yeah. You're too much into everything that was available.
I've gone too deep.
But now, definitely the new Predator movie. I definitely say go in with a bit more of a not expecting what the other ones have been.
Yeah, not expecting anything.
It's a bit more of a lighter. Yeah, it's a bit more of a lighter idea to it. But I mean, it's enjoyable.
Yeah. If you go in with the right mindset.
Yeah, exactly. I wasn't too super impressed with like the end. It's kind of like, well, okay, well that kind of they could have cut it early.
Yeah.
But there was just a lot of points that kind of hit home for me in that movie. Like the guy and with his kid. That's that kind of hit and there's a lot of like it was very strange watching that movie in the theater. Yeah. And I was just like,
that's another odd production for a movie. Like, there's probably another darker, better cut of that movie.
Oh yeah. No, they could have definitely. You could have done a really good cut of it. That's just.
I think it was studio interference. Is what I heard about. But
yeah, which I can see it because the ending actually, that's what it honestly looks like. Like the ending is just looks like total.
Yeah. And
them wanting to.
Yeah, just kind of bring it to an end in a certain way that wasn't the original intent.
Yeah, I mean,
they wanted to be safe rather than whatever the original vision was.
Yeah, it's stupid safe almost. It's ridiculously safe. You're just like, that's.
Yeah,
it's not
the craziest bit of this. Sorry to cut you off, but you know what the craziest part of this entire odyssey down this weird Predator and other films, just weird freaking discussion is? Not a single mention, not one hint. We went through Batman v Predator, but we never touched on Predators. We did not acknowledge the existence of an entire movie during the entire conversation. And the kicker is, I actually thought that was okay.
I liked it. I liked Predators.
I like aspects, which is
once again, it's the good dynamic of what other Predator. Yes, the Predator world. Okay, cool. We didn't need to see that, but the idea that not all Predators are like they're not all from the same clan. is what that introduced. So wait a minute, like the ones before that. Okay, so now they fight aliens. So okay, so predators and they fight aliens. This one introduces no. Predators fight other predators too. Like that happens. That's not unheard of. So it was like, okay, that's cool. Like it's a really cool idea that once again can branch off.
Yeah.
There was some redeeming things about that one too.
Yeah.
Real redeeming things about.
Also, a little catharsis from Spider-Man 3 in that one.
Yeah. Oh man, they had
I liked his
introduced
character,
also
it's kind of like, I mean, I like the idea of his character. The execution was meh, but
yeah.
I like the turns at least. And Danny Trejo in anything is just fun.
Oh yeah.
And just just off his freaking nut. What's his name? Shit. Names with me tonight. I can't do it. Morpheus.
Oh yeah, Fishburne.
Yeah, Lawrence Fishburne.
Lawrence.
He's just off his nut in that movie, and it's fun to see him play crazy.
Yeah.
They don't do much with it, but it's a fun moment in the film.
Oh yeah. I mean, it does introduce the idea of like, yes, humans can be they can survive and outdo the predator. However, they aren't
the same after.
Yeah, they have to go batshit insane crazy to even be on the level of the predator. Like they gotta just fucking lose it. Which then tells us like where the predator stands, kind of almost psyche-like as well. Like they can have a functioning society and have a clan and do all this batshit crazy shit. Whereas if the humans try to do it, they go fucking mental. They just can't do it.
Yeah. I will do a very, very quick side tangent back into Star Wars because it relates to Predators slightly. Because of course I can. There is a 2 or 3 episode arc of the Clone Wars cartoon where it goes back to the home planet of Bosk and his species, and they do kind of a predator hunt type thing where it's like kind of primitive culture but technically advanced, and they have like they go on hunts, so it's kind of like a Predator Most Dangerous Game thing, hunting after like Jedi Padawans. So it's like
interesting.
It's pretty dark for a kids cartoon. It's literally got kids getting hunted and murdered in it. But but it's got a very Predator tone to it. I don't remember where it is. It's obviously in one of the later seasons because they get darker as it goes in the Clone Wars. There's some really good sections of that show. But I would look that up if you can find
do remember seeing the ads for the bounty hunters. That's always gotten me about like the Star Wars universe and everything, is the bounty hunters and just the big vast array of them.
Yeah.
And how they sit. Like IG-88,
IG-88,
Bosk. I didn't realize that the Clone Wars had a whole Bosk like.
Oh, you get a lot more Bosk than you would think. You get Bosk, you get Boba Fett, you get Aura Singh. Like young Boba Fett. They didn't get to the end of the story they wanted to tell. There's actually a new season coming. They're going to end the story of like this big thing, like this big major fight that they've been alluding to in the canon for so long, but the show got canceled before they could touch it. It's not the Mandalorian Wars. What the hell's the name of it? It doesn't matter. But it is this big confrontation, and it brings one of the characters, several characters' arcs to a close in that. There's actually another book that is adapted from an 8-episode arc that never got adapted into the Clone Wars, and it's called Dark Disciple. It's really fucking good. It's like this, like kind of dark side bounty hunter spy games novel with Asajj Ventress, who if you've seen any Clone Wars at all, like bald Sith chick, with the dual lightsabers. Okay. Yeah, she goes down a different path than you would expect in the show, and it's actually really cool. But that's picking up with her and a character named Quinlan Voss from like the old EU. They bring him in. He's like in one episode of the show, but it's like them teaming up, and it's the Jedi. Like they're closer to the end of the Clone Wars and like where Revenge of the Sith ends up, so everything is darker. Like they go from like there's lines in the movies where like Mace Windu is saying the Jedi do not assassinate people, and then you get to this point, filling in this gap from the Clone Wars and getting to this point where it's near the end of that conflict, and you've got Mace Windu and Anakin and several other people meeting behind closed doors to discuss the assassination of Count Dooku. But they don't want that to reflect on the Jedi, so they get Quinlan Vos, who's already kind of on the outskirts, he's already kind of the rebel Jedi guy, to go undercover, pretend he's a Sith, and team up with Asajj Ventress, like Count Dooku's old apprentice.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like they go hunt him, and it's really fucking good.
Yeah, see, I'm glad
getting
the
into exists.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just glad that it just, and that's the kind of stuff that really got me about like the Star Wars as well. Is that I really loved the
lore and the minutia, just kind of like these other movies.
Yeah,
like,
just
like the prequels. They may have not been the best executed, but if you dive deep in what like the intentions were of that and see what's there, like find the positives of that, there's so much there. Because I maintain that the Star Wars universe would be so much less interesting if the prequels didn't happen. Because you watch the original trilogy, it's great. But there's like 4 planets.
Yeah, that's it. Right, nothing else.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay.
It's like the prequels
ice planet, moon.
have weird dialogue, weird pacing, and weird ideas, but they build a universe.
Yeah.
That's where Knights of the Malbec comes from. That's where Darth Bane comes from. That's where Darth Plagueis comes from. All these different interesting things that went different places in the books and everything, and people ran with that. And that's kind of the stuff people ended up loving later on. So it's like you get all this stuff because of those movies. And there's a really good political arc in there. People complain about the politics of it. But it's like, if you read it as Palpatine's rise and how he constructs everything and puts himself into power, it is great. Yep. Especially since Ian McDiarmid is one of the best parts of that entire trilogy. It's like, because he appears as this kindly old man, and then you slowly get deeper into it. The Emperor would
see him changing.
The Emperor would be generic bad guy man at end of one movie, if not for that prequel trilogy. He in the original trilogy is what people don't like about Snoke, and the reason people don't like that about Snoke is because he didn't get his prequels.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah, not to say you needed Snoke's story for those movies to work, but like if they put out a book for Snoke, I'll read it.
Yeah.
I'm reading a book about Padme Amidala, for fuck's sake.
And I love the idea of going deeper into the actual clones themselves.
Yeah, there's a lot of good clone stuff.
Oh yeah.
How much of the Clone Wars have you watched?
Let's see. I made
like a couple episodes in and didn't dig like the kiddie stuff.
No,
probably.
It was I made it through at least a couple seasons of it.
Did you get
I was binging it through Netflix. I was just binging it on Netflix.
They aired that out of order, by the way.
Oh yeah.
You can find a watch order. You don't have to, but you can find a watch order if you want to like go exactly chronologically. You don't have to move a whole lot, but you do have to kind of keep an eye on it every few episodes. Like most of season 1 goes chronologically, but like one episode in the middle of it will be like before everything else, and one will be like, there's a point where it's like, weren't you fucking dead a few episodes ago? I had a character that's like, didn't you just die? But he was back because they aired it out of sequence. But that only happens once, I think.
All right.
But did you get to, damn it, me with names. This is a series of 3 episodes that I count as like another trilogy within the lore. It's so deep. It's like, not so deep, but like, it raises so many questions that I wish was answered. Shit.
I got
Mortis.
Season 4, episode 1. That's the last thing my Netflix has.
So did you see the Mortis arc? I don't remember when that happens.
Let me see how far else it goes. How
I'm
many
going to open
more?
Netflix and hope my computer doesn't crash.
Oh, there's only 5? 5 seasons? And then Lost Missions?
Yeah, so 6 seasons. They're releasing
Netflix.
a 7th
season.
Like
I
this
made
year
it
or
a
next
fair
year.
way through it.
Yeah, I would finish that. Clone Wars.
Oh, definitely.
Wars. Of course I would finish it. I'm the friggin' Star Wars guy. But, am I starting an episode by accident? Yes, I am. Nope, I don't want to watch an episode. I hate the Netflix UI on the computer.
Yeah, it's a little
wonky.
Yeah, to say the least.
Ah, perfect. That was like the last thing I watched. So, yeah, you saw it. It was Ghosts of Mortis and Overlords and Ultra Mortis, where they go to that like weird, the thing with the Force users, where it's like kind of the wizards and like the father, the son, and the daughter, that stuff.
Oh yes, I think I do recall that. It's been a while.
Yeah, if you don't recall that, go back and watch season 3, episodes 15 through 17.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just found them. They're right here. Yeah. I haven't watched. Yeah, let's see.
Because like, if you're paying attention to the lore and the questions that's asking, like especially due to the like around the Chosen One prophecy, that raises so many interesting questions. And the best thing about the Clone Wars is that that's the last thing George Lucas worked on. He worked on a lot of that.
Yeah.
And that's where the ideas came from for a lot of it. And Dave Filoni is like freaking genius. He did Avatar: The Last Airbender, and he did a lot of this, and then he went on to do the Rebels cartoon. And a lot of
good stuff happened. Any of the
Rebels
stuff.
I have every season on Blu-ray. Go watch Rebels. The thing that all the Star Wars cartoons share is the first half of the first seasons are kind of shite. But then they get really good.
But luckily,
it's like when they hit mid-season, usually this only happens mid-season to make it really interesting and carry you forward from there, and then they just get better as it goes. Like, there is stuff that happens in these cartoons, like, if you explained the bare minimum concept of what they were to someone, they would think, this show ruined Star Wars, why would you do that? That doesn't belong there. That they can't do that well, that's going to be awful. It ruins everything. And then you go and watch, it's like, oh wow, that actually works really well.
Oh, wow, I didn't realize so much on Netflix. Just kind of flipping through, I just put in clone, find the Clone Wars, and I'm just going through whatever they think is available. What pertains to clone.
Yeah, but you saw like all the Clone Cadet stuff, and that was really good.
Oh, that was great.
Yeah, the craziest bit, it makes sense once you hear it, but it's just like, it's super impressive when you realize that every single clone in that cartoon, they give like the clones individual personalities and there's different performances and everything. Same guy. D. Bradley Baker does every single clone in that show and does such a good job of doing every one of them individually.
And yeah, that was the thing. The clones had their own
personalities and everything
to them. Yeah.
Yeah. There was like
which would
like the kind of like deformed clone. Yeah, he was a little bit too much, like too kind of emotionally manipulative, like a little too far.
Yeah.
But other than that, they never really crossed that boundary. There was also another one. It was General Krill, like the shit. Again, names not happening tonight. But
yep.
There's like this planet conflict with all the clones, and like this like kind of ruthless Jedi commander. Like one of the guys with the 4 arms, kind of like Dex from the bar, except he's like just this huge fucking tank of a freaking character. Like, Dex looks chubby and out of shape as hell, but if his race gets in shape, it's like, you do not want to fight that. You do not want to fight that. So it's like General Krell is like this big one of that species of alien as a Jedi commander, and he's just ruthless, and he runs the clones ragged, and it's like just this dark, dingy planet, and just all this kind of manipulation shit. It's a really good arc. Yeah, there's a lot of good in the Clone Wars. That's the definitive version of Anakin Skywalker, too.
Yeah. Oh shit, they have Stargate.
Maybe in the US. They just added that to Prime in Canada. Only the first 3 seasons, though, which pisses me off.
Oh, no, they got the movie in the US Netflix.
It's so weird to go back to that movie. Because, like, you have the guy from the TV show in your mind the whole time, but it's like, it's Kurt Russell. That's super weird.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Is there any guys that actually cross over to the two?
Between the movies and that?
Yeah.
The main, like, the doctor with the glasses. One of the other main guys, he crosses over, I think. Same actor.
Daniel, I think it is, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Is Teal'c in the movie? I don't think so. It was so weird to find out that Christopher Judge was doing Kratos in the new God of War. Boy. Read it.
Oh, jeez. My Netflix is being overrun now. Oh.
But, anyway, the obvious takeaway from this conversation is watch the Clone Wars and Rebels.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there's also the only other episode I'll call back to specifically is it's specifically called Bounty Hunters. I don't remember where it is, but it's a Seven Samurai riff. And they made that in honor of Akira Toriyama and dedicated it to him.
Did you manage to see the Castlevania? It came through on Netflix?
The anime? Yes.
Yeah. Oh,
super good.
It's good.
It misses a lot of marks, but it's super entertaining.
Oh yeah, definitely.
The major downfall of it, and it kind of comes from the I don't like Adi Shankar from what I've seen of him. Like I saw like some of his like the fan films he did before, and it's like always he seemed to go a little too far into the gritty, like more than necessary. Even in that Dirty Laundry Punisher one, which is impressive to go too far with the violence in a Punisher short.
Yeah.
But like he just seems to make things mature in the way that people think mature means of cursing and fucking.
Yeah.
Like no actual depth. He does really fairly well with Castlevania, but I think that might be a lot in part because it's written by Warren Ellis.
Oh yeah.
But
that's
that first episode with Dracula, holy shit. That is like one of the best Draculas on screen.
Oh yeah.
They kind of waste him a little in the second season. Or let's call it the remainder of season 1, because that's what it is. But
yeah, honestly.
But my major complaint with that show was all the cursing. Because it's just like it doesn't fit.
It seemed forced sometimes. Yeah, it seemed really forced at times.
Camilla specifically. It's like your character does not carry herself like someone who would say fuck that much.
Yeah.
And it's like all the lines of dialogue, it was taking me out so much that I was rereading lines of dialogue of hers in my mind and minusing the cursing.
Yeah.
Like, that would have read so much better.
Yep. I mean, I like the idea that Trevor was just like, I don't want to be here.
I kind of didn't like that.
That made sense.
He grew on me.
Yeah, that meant the whole.
They didn't need the bar brawl to have the Hicks talk about fucking sheep, but that's another example of like you went a little too far.
Yep. Just a little, just cause a little gratuitous. But like I love the banter.
It's like God, that wasn't necessary.
Love the banter between Alucard and Trevor. Loved it. the banter back and forth between them.
I like it. But it's kind of a little one of those things where it's a give and take for me, their relationship. Like the flipping each other off at the end. It's like, I get what you're going for, but that doesn't really fit Alucard.
Yeah. Like, just,
like he's a bit of a child in that show.
Yeah.
The biggest complaint, and this is kind of a compliment as well, because the show is really good. The biggest complaint about that show is that it's almost there.
Yeah. It's from the same kind of curse of like either make a terrible, like the worst thing you could ever do is make an okay game.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
but it's like a lot hits, but there's just enough stuff that misses that kind of makes it fall flat. That beginning episode, the thing is, like the first episode and the last episode of that are the best ones. Because the first episode with the history of Dracula and stuff, all that, like the big fucking fireball stuff of him, like just when his rage is finally unleashed, and giving him that humanity of like he's like he can actually be sympathetic and come down and have humanity, and then all of that is taken away from him for the stupidest of reasons, and you completely empathize, and he just loses shit, and you understand why. And it's just a visual spectacle. And then the last episode with just how that concludes with him and Alucard, it was like gut punch.
Yep. I definitely was not expecting that first episode. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh, okay, Castlevania, I'll see it. Like, let's see how it goes. Was not expecting that at all. No, I was like, this is gonna be great. Like, this is gonna be a great series.
And then everything from between episodes 2 through 11 is like, okay. Episode 1 and episode 12 are fantastic.
Yeah.
I appreciate how much they dug into like the PS2 games. Not too far, but enough. Like they actually paid attention to the weird ass lore that game series has. And they have like a picture, they have a friggin' portrait of the main character from Lament of Innocence in the library. You don't need that, but I appreciate that you put it there.
Nope. But you did your homework, and
it's a little weird, but I like that you did it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, it proves that it wasn't just like.
Yeah, and the character.
Sure, whatever. I'm just gonna write. Yeah, it's like I'm not just gonna write whatever I feel like and use, and then slap the Castlevania stamp on it. He actually did the research and actually pulled it through, and that's. Honestly, when something like that happens, you've just got to appreciate it, or else they're just gonna like
even
not
when
pay
it trips
attention
over
to it.
itself occasionally, you got to appreciate the effort.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I kind
of want them to put a full box set out of both seasons because that really is only one box set's worth of stuff. I saw like the first season.
4 episodes is not a season. Like
that's a pilot. That's a pilot.
Yeah, that's to be like, should we carry on with this? Okay, yes, go ahead.
Yeah,
film the rest of it.
It's like you got the team together, and then let us know what you think.
Yeah, that way they got it all done and was like, we're only going to release a little bit at a time. It's like,
I do think they took a lot of notes from that first 4 episodes and took it into season 2 and went deeper there. Like I can see that happen. I like Peter Stormare as like a Viking vampire.
Yeah,
it almost doesn't work.
The idea
just
it's close.
It's
very close, but then you see
only character that the cursing makes sense for.
Disdain comes from. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like, and he's so full of himself. Like where he's doing that chase, and he's like, Godbrand. Like he's shouting his own name in battle.
It's just.
Like you can tell,
makes sense.
It's like a Taserface situation. He picked it because he thought it sounded cool.
Exactly, and it just the idea of having him there was needed as well because he was just the embodiment of the questioning of Dracula. Like, should we? But
if anyone like on an archive has made it this far, obviously you know this is spoilers at this point for this show. And it's like I don't know anyone who's insane enough to get this far for when this goes up after. But like we're so far into the weeds it doesn't even matter anymore. But the line with him, like, and this isn't like really so much a spoiler, it just kind of ruins a gag. If you haven't seen it, is the where I think it's Camilla that says it, but I don't remember who confronts him about it. It's like he's like going on about like the plan and caring about like the plan or something about that. I don't remember the initial setup, but someone just turns to him and goes, "Godbrand, you don't care about anything unless you can fight it, fuck it, or make a boat out of it."
Well, I'm a Viking. I gotta make a boat out of it.
Yeah, it's like, we're fucking Vikings. We're supposed to make things.
We're supposed to make boats. That's what we're meant to do.
Yeah.
It was like,
yeah.
This is amazing.
It almost doesn't fit, but it's like you get why.
Yeah.
There's a lot to like, but there's
the fact
also
that
they fumble, but there's so much to like in it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's definitely not one it's definitely something you should watch rather than trying to avoid. Like,
yeah.
You wouldn't be disappointed watching it.
And how he ends makes perfect sense, and it's like you don't see it coming, but it's really good.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. All right.
No, we've been going
on.
Yeah,
right.
It is late now. We have been going for 3 hours, or we've been going for most of 3 hours. Half an hour of that was dead air, but
yeah,
it was like 10 minutes of me rambling on by myself, 30 minutes of dead air stuff. But yeah, we got there in the end.
Yeah,
we're the only two people crazy enough to get that far into the weeds on shit. Can you tell I don't get to go that deep into this shit that much?
Yeah, oh, it's great. It honestly is. Have that kind of in-depth conversation about stuff, because then you can bounce more ideas off, and that's how you get more into that. That's how stuff gets built. That's how
it's like
lore and understanding gets built. It's if we keep going,
go deep on all the Predator movies, Star Wars, comics, and then Castlevania for some reason.
Oh yeah,
and Mad Max, Fury Road, not Fury Road. That's the good one. Thunderdome, the exact opposite of good one.
The good one, but it's on the other scale, on the other side that we've labeled good on this scale.
Yeah,
good's at both ends of the scale.
The 2005 Doom movie with The Rock is a more successful movie than Thunderdome. But
God, yeah, oof, that one.
I enjoy that because it's so bad. But anyway, I don't want to get further down into the weeds in another movie.
Yep. Nope.
But that one's absurd, though. I enjoy it. Anyway, yeah, we should end. It's probably much later for you than it is for me.
Yeah, it's 1:45 here.
Yeah, 10:45 for me. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, great having this in-depth discussion on a whole bunch of nerdy shit.
Absolutely.
Hopefully you can be on again in just whenever you're available in the next few weeks, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
Just whenever you feel like popping on. This is just open.
Pretty much. It's kind of how I kind of roll with it. I'm just like, I'll pop on. Or I'm like, I'm not going to pop on tonight or whatever.
Yeah, it's Tuesdays between 6 and 7-ish Pacific time, sometimes later. Just pop on.
Oh, yeah. Sounds good. I usually wait for the Discord link to come up. And I was like, oh, yeah, there's one. Cool.
Hey, at least now I know someone uses that damn thing.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm usually on Discord. Yeah. Twitter's there, but Discord's usually where I'm at.
I'm a little wary of doing the Twitter link every time. That's where all the trolls come from. But anyway. So much porn. So much porn. Anyway. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, we gotta call it.
All right.
Yeah, have a good night, man.
You too.
Yeah. See people next week.
Yep.